who were actively involved in bear spraying cops, beating them with flagpoles and things like that to receive pardons, were singing the national anthem with President Trump and being called patriots. We called Colin Kaepernick a disgrace just because he took a knee during the anthem. These folks can go up to the top of the Capitol building and remove the flag, and they're patriots? So some of this is really, really backwards, to say the least. I don't favor it. I think it is just some unfair bias favoritism. I mean, why the Trump administration would get behind this? Well, I understand why Trump is doing it, because he has personal gain. But what I don't understand is why folks on the right that have future aspirations for being politicians would get behind it. Look, to some degree, I think it would almost be better if an individual said, look, I'm going to resign office. You may hear from me in the future. Somebody who's scared, like a Marjorie Taylor Greene or somebody who is frightened of what Trump could do to them or whatever. I'm just going to resign my post, or I'm not going to seek re-election, and just let the Trump administration do what they want to do and get out. And once that's out of the way, run again. And then you can announce that in good conscience, I could not have stood by and backed that stuff, but for fear or whatever reason you want to cite, I had to step down. But to ride with it, I do believe it's going to hurt them going forward. And unless the country is just fundamentally branded MAGA, I think it will hurt them going forward. I mean, because we talk about liberal judges letting people out of jail all the time that reoffend. A lot of these folks went out, they got pardoned, and they went on to reoffend. A lot of those January 6th protesters have committed, I think some of them have been charged with sex crimes, grape. One got into a shootout with a state trooper. I think there's some robberies, some domestic violence folks amongst these crowds. I mean, it looks bad if you're going to talk about liberal judges being soft on crime, but you're okay with this. It does look bad. Looking in the comments, Black people can't really get anything as a group. It has to be grouped with others, pieces of shit. Me too. Wait, I'm trying to think. That's a good point, because affirmative action and DEI and all that stuff did not just go to Black folks. That is true. Black History Month. I don't know. That's a good point. I'll leave it at that. That's a good point. MAGA has only ever been a minority, and they've only shrunk more and more every day. And you got hashtag shrinking minority. Well, but they're allowed is what they call it, the squeakiest wheel. They're getting the oil. They're getting the president's adoration. So even though they're the minority, they're getting a lot of love and support from President Trump. M. Dub, one of my subscribers, good evening to you. I say all African Americans jump on board and sue. He said anybody could. Well, as long as Trump has control of the administration, they would probably dismiss your lawsuit. And you're not going to get a lot of love once it reaches the Supreme Court. We'll probably just dismiss your shit. Only orange clown shit pardon terrorists in 2 countries. What over 2,000 combined? What about all the fraudsters and child traffickers that he's taking money and pardons for? He's a busy man. He's a busy man. Tap the screen, get the likes up to over 20,000 if you will. Help your boy out with the hat mustache. TikTok cap go. The Pilgrim strikes back again with Faith Vader. I don't know what that means. So right now I got a guest that's taking a moment to bring him up. So otherwise we'll move on. Looking in the comments here. I lived through Reagan, all of George Bush and Bush Jr. I lived through drama. Trump is better. I would like to know in what ways. One of the guests said he lived through them folks, and Trump is better. Because look, you're not the only one that thinks Trump is a great president. Some folks have said he's the best we've ever had. But when you're saying he's better than Reagan, by the way, that's significant. Reagan won 49 states. So the idea that Trump is better, the first question I want to know is, what metrics are you judging him on? What has Trump done that makes him better than all those folks? And then we'll entertain it from there. We'll move on because my last guest did not come up, and we'll go to Sherbert. Good evening, Sherbert. Welcome to the program. So do you see this? I'm doing good. And I see Packer 59 says the worst president of all time. I don't know if Trump will go down that bad. You don't think he'll go down as the worst president of all time, do you, Sherbert?
But at least top 5. I and he's top one for me, but I didn't live through some of the other ones they say were terrible, but the amount of people that are just so completely blinded by this guy tells me that he's one of the worst. Because there's presidents that did great, I don't really like him. He did good for the country, whatever. But if there's people saying, no, he's A+++, fight. Like,
Duke.
If you gotta use that kind of rhetoric, you probably are a fanatic, and then I can't trust you.
Yeah, Duke said he was an A+++, and I'm like, wow, gas is $4.50. Yeah, gas is $4.50 a gallon. You're giving him an A+++, like, and that's what I was saying to this other viewer that's over on Clapper. Like, what has he done to get this high rating? But I don't know about the worst of all time. To me, I think Trump's rhetoric is probably more so what's giving people angst toward him as opposed to what he's actually doing. If Trump remained silent or professional like most other politicians have, I think a lot of the things that he's taking criticism for, he could probably have gotten away with it. It's the bragging, the boasting, the insulting, what he's done on the internet. I think that's made it a lot worse, because I'm going to tell you, that war that George W. Bush started that cost the lives of 6,000 Americans, not to mention tens of thousands with PTSD and all kinds of other ailments, Trump ain't done nothing to equal that. I mean, over 1 million people died in the Middle East. Trump hasn't caught up with that. So to me, George W. Bush is worse than Trump. But it's because Trump boasts and brag. He's posting pictures of people getting killed. I think it's all of that shit.
Well, Tim, you're going off of 6,000 soldiers for like 20 years or so?
No. Well, yeah. Well,
6,000 right at the beginning of Bush's term?
Well, no, you got a point. But even in 8 years of Bush, I'm sure it was hundreds of them. I mean, it still was hundreds of them and thousands of Iraqis.
But Trump also got rid of USAID, first and foremost, because he didn't like other people getting what he wanted. And so we've definitely hurt a lot more people than that initial Bush starting that war. So, no, he's still hurting more people in a faster time frame.
Well,
you say that you don't want kids to have SNAP while the government shut down and actually having the Supreme Court fight this because you can't let it go, you might be a terrible person.
Well, I'm not saying he's a good guy, but yeah, my guess is Bush probably got rid of some programs that did some damage like that too. We just, like I said, because he ain't bragging about it, he's not out in the open. That's where, if Trump had quietly wound down USAID, there would have been liberals complaining about it on left-wing media outlets, but it would probably have not gotten anywhere near as much attention because everybody don't watch the news and shit. But when you go to the building, you're taking the name down and it's just the public nature of how he does stuff that draws more attention to it.
Well, it definitely didn't help with Elon pulling out the chainsaw.
Right.
And just being a giant douche about it.
Yeah. And like I said, that's what it is. It's not just doing something that may be detrimental to people. It's literally appearing as if you're taking pleasure in it. That's what makes it worse.
Well, yes. And then within all of this, the most transparent president we've ever had. Are you kidding me?
Well,
especially within the Doge, they would just set up screenshots and say, hey, look how much we're saving, even though it's usually projects that had already been paid out. And so by cutting it, you've done absolutely nothing.
I would refer, because I used to refer to Trump as the most transparent. I would, now that we know a lot of the things, you just got the evilest laugh, but and now that we know a lot of things he says, like you mentioned, Doge, it's not accurate. I won't say, I'll take away him as the most transparent president. I'll say he's the most vocal president because a lot of the things he's saying is not true, but he does talk to the people a lot. And there's a lot of folks who do believe what he's saying is true.
Most of the stuff he says doesn't even make sense.
Give me an example.
Specifically, they're coming from the jails and the mental institutions, and they're just emptying them out, and they've got nothing now, so they've sent them all to us with absolutely zero proof. That literally doesn't even make sense how they would do that.
Well,
You're just paying the coyotes to get entire prisons across? What the fuck are we talking about?
Well, I was going to say this, but Snowbird7 in the comments said it for me. He said it makes sense to us. And that's the point, is that for MAGA, the stuff you're claiming that makes no sense, it makes perfect sense to them. They're eating cats and dogs. They believe that stuff. That stuff makes sense to them perfectly.
Did it make sense that the windmills were killing the whales?
Did he say that?
Those things that just made sense, that the whales hate windmills so much they're beaching themselves. Did that make fucking sense, you dumb? Oh my god.
Well, there may be some kind of
single brain-celled organisms over here.
There may be some kind of scientific way you can twist it where the windmill in it, because some of those are out in the middle of the water.
No, you can't, Tim. There is literally zero fucking evidence of this. I've been waiting to hear what the scientists would say because it makes no fucking sense. And then they go, yeah, that literally doesn't do anything.
Well, if they're saying windmills kill whales, goddamn. I mean, I understand they kill some birds, so they fly into the blades, but how a windmill would kill a whale, I don't know. I guess maybe one of the blades fall off into the water and it stabs a whale at the top or something. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But you know, with the Trump, it's just it's just like with the eating cats and dogs. All it takes is for one crazy person to do it, and then it's okay to brand the whole group with it. So if one whale, let's say something on a windmill, because a lot of them things are out in the ocean. Something on one of the windmills failed and it fell into the ocean and it happened to hit a whale on the head or something, and that one died. That's all they need. But no, I don't know how windmills could be killing whales.
To be fair, there are very few in the ocean. The majority of them are in the plains and across Texas. Now, Trump is really butthurt about his golf course in Scotland having a bunch of windmills on the coastline. But that's not a super common thing. Most of the time, they're up on mountain peaks and in farmlands.
Mm. I've never heard him say windmills kill whales, though.
Oh, trust me, he fucking said it. You can do that with half a second of searching.
Give me something else he said, in your opinion, that doesn't make sense.
Other countries are going to pay the tariffs. If you inject bleach into your veins, it'll get rid of COVID.
He didn't say that.
By May, just once it heats up, it'll just disappear.
Well, first of all,
he did say put the bleach in there.
First of all, he asked, could you try putting disinfectant to see if, I mean, he questioned whether, he never used the word bleach at all. He said disinfectant, and he was questioning it. He didn't recommend anybody drink or put bleach in their body. So that's a liberal twist. Getting that from the mainstream media, as my MAGA often says. That's not accurate.
I watched that man say one of the dumbest things ever, and with complete sincerity, as that lady face palmed as hard as possible. I'm surprised she didn't die from an aneurysm of hitting her face so hard.
Yeah, I got another one in the comments. Somebody talked about using a nuclear device to stop a hurricane, stop a storm. You know, is that really that stupid, though? It ain't advisable for the environment to explode a nuclear bomb off the coast of Florida somewhere. But I tend to think that if you exploded a nuclear bomb in the eye of a storm, it might disrupt the storm. It might actually work.
Yeah, except for the EMP that is released, and then will affect.
Yeah, it would be terrible for the environment.
That goes. I think it's like 50 miles, and we're usually dealing with hurricanes that have already landed.
Yeah.
So unless we're saying we're going to do so much better than we ever have in the past and get it done over the water, which then has its own sets of problems all over the place. It's just a really dumb fucking idea, Tim. Every idea he has is pretty fucking dumb, specifically the tariffs. Yeah. And yet that was God's gift to mankind through Trump.
Well, here's my explanation for Trump. I kind of understand it. I agree with you. It's not going to turn out well, but I do understand. I think the Trump administration and MAGA to some degree see us as so superior compared to other nations that I don't think they even contemplate that these nations have retaliatory methods. Like, they don't have the military we have, or they don't have the GDP we have, but they do have some options. You're not just going to steamroll over them without some type of backlash. Like the Trump administration never anticipated retaliation for tariffs. Like these people do have some options. They can do business elsewhere. There's some things we need them for. I mean, there's other options they have. And they just thought I could just impose tariffs and because they can't do nothing about it, they just got to pay it. Like a bully aspect. You just think that you are so powerful over this person that you can bully them and there's not much they can do other than submit. I believe that's kind of how Trump looked at this.
Yeah, and if you use his negotiating skills from Art of the Deal, things are never going to go right. And yet, for some reason, people are giving him the A++, even though I've never seen a deal that was particularly good unless it was hotel. Every other deal I've ever seen or heard of has either gone bankrupt or had a lawsuit because it was fraud.
You know, you raise a good point. You know, because we did, I say we, us Americans, we elected Trump because many of us thought we needed a good businessman to run the country. And your point is well taken because he was the one who published or wrote The Art of the Deal. I don't know of many great deals. He's been a president now almost 6 years. And I'm not aware of any great deals he's made. Most of his accomplishments have been through bullying. We're just going to do shit this way and you have no choice. That's not making a deal. I'm not aware of any great deals he's made.
There was one, and then he fucked it all up with the JC.
That wasn't him, though.
USMCA.
Yeah, that wasn't him. That was Obama.
Well, no, he did the USMCA. The NAFTA, he replaced NAFTA.
Oh,
okay. He really didn't change all that much. He did a couple of small things. And cool, he actually did a trade deal. He did a comprehensive thing versus you, 20%. He's like, all right, we've got things on milk and yogurt and all the bullshit things that MAGA misrepresented about Canadian milk tariffs. But at least they were in there. At least there was a policy to discuss versus executive order, I'm God now. What am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, and that's what we're dealing with now, which is why I think MAGA's okay with him just going and attacking these little smaller nations, is because, like you said, I'm God now, or we're so powerful. It ain't that they can really do a lot to stop it. We're not expecting much in terms of loss or casualties attacking Cuba and Venezuela, so they're okay with that. But these little nations, they do have options. Venezuela just caved, but Cuba's threatening to fight back. I don't know how far that would go, but they are threatening to fight back. What do you think? You think he's going to end up taking Cuba, or you think he's going to end up carrying out what he's threatening?
I think he will provoke them. I can't imagine we will take them because that would actually require strategy and people that know what they're doing.
Provoke them to act first?
Probably not. We didn't. We acted first in the Strait of Hormuz,
right,
in Iran. But so I imagine we will attack Cuba first. Things will go absolutely terribly, and then Trump will say we won. He'll say we won within 2 hours, most likely, of the initial attack.
Well, I would assume our military strategists could make plans. Cuba probably, I can't imagine Cuba is Cuba militarily any better off than Venezuela was?
I don't think so it won't be a very good strike, but incompetency means that we will never keep it, at least under this presidency.
I think the difference is, though, unlike Venezuela, Cuba has been threatened by the United States for so long, they may have a few tricks up their sleeve. Not much, but Venezuela wasn't expecting this shit. I mean, we didn't.
Probably be.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I said we didn't like Hugo Chavez, the guy who died of cancer in the early 2000s. But we really haven't been talking about attacking Venezuela to any significant degree as of late. We've always been threatening Cuba ever since you go all the way back to the Cuban Missile Crisis. So it's been rumors and threats that we were going to come and invade their country for a long time. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have a few defense methods planned, but I can't imagine it would be very successful.
I mean, at this point, all things being absolutely crazy, we should just make them the 51st state and bring them in, and then at least they would have access to all the resources and everything else they need, and then they might we could get some more Latinos in here. I would be super happy with that.
I don't even think Cuba would want to be the 51st state. Certainly not under Trump. I mean, Puerto Rico.
No, but at least there wouldn't be a blockade there.
Yeah, I mean, they could eat. I mean, Puerto Rico don't even want to be the 51st state. I think when they were talking about putting it up for a vote down there, they didn't even want it. I mean, I don't even think Hawaii and Alaska wanted to be part of the United States. We just kind of forced it upon them because the natives in Alaska and the natives in Hawaii are not very happy with us. I mean, I don't even think they wanted to do it. So I'd be surprised if Cuba, certainly under the Trump administration, the way he's been treating, because they used to have the rule where if they made it to America, they could stay. Trump is taking a real hard line on them. So and now they're in the dark and all of that because of us. So I don't think they want to join us under Trump.
They probably don't, but if we make them the 51st state, at least then they can have infrastructure. I can move there, it'd be nicer.
You want to move to Cuba?
I mean, just think about all the economics of infrastructure we could build. We could do Cuban oil. We could do Cuban cars built out there. We could send Elon Musk out there and let that be his little stupid fucking island.
You know,
get him out of America.
And I think I got to move it on for me. Before I do, I think that's the reason Trump is interested in that is because remember he was talking about the Riviera of the Middle East with Gaza. If they take Cuba, they could end up, this is investment because Cuba's tropical, it's got beautiful shores and all of that. They could put a bunch of premium hotels there, and they already got a ton of slave labor already on the island. So you're not going there. They already got the slave labor they need, so they can pay them pennies to put posh hotels and shit there. And then they'll charge a premium to wealthier Americans that come visit. It'll be like Havana in the 1930s and 40s. I don't know about you going there, though, but they have somebody in Q in the comments said, what slave labor? The fucking Cubans. The Cubans are the slave labor. You paying them $2 and $3 an hour. That's the slave labor, the people that are living there. You make them work, and they'll be thinking that, just like the Hispanics, just like the Mexicans when they come here, or the immigrants when they come here. The little under-the-table wages they make, they think is a decent wage. And that's what we would be paying them to help rebuild their country so that we can exploit it. Do you see any possibility of that, Sherbert?
No, definitely. Yeah. We could pay them with Teslas. We've already paying Elon Musk like $8 million a day. Just pay them with Teslas. That'll be fine.
No, we'll send a whole bunch of 90s rejects from junkyards over there. They're not going to get him Teslas. Well, who knows? But I'm just simply saying that is a way for Trump and a few investors to make a ton of money. They could put a ton of hotels and things on that island. You got Royal Caribbean and Carnival can now go there and shit like that, and cruise ships or whatever, charge a premium. And you got all that cheap labor running that shit, valets and all of that stuff, cheap labor, and you making a fortune. So I can see them. That's what a businessman does. We wanted a businessman. That's what he actually specializes in. He's good at doing that.
Tim, have you ever worked at a place that got purchased by new owners and it was owned by a corporation?
Yes, Southwestern Bell Communications.
As soon as venture capitalists get in, everything goes to shit.
It sucks.
Every single time.
Yep.
So you can say that it's still not going to be good for everyone, and that we need a business owner to come in here, maybe. But we got the one that went bankrupt several times and has just been a nepo baby by getting $500 million from daddy.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be good for everybody. I'm talking it's going to be good for the investors. Everybody else is getting exploited. It ain't meant to be good for nobody else. Huh?
Gen X will think he'll be an investor, and then he'll probably get stolen by Steve Bannon again.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that does happen. Sherbert, I got to move on. That absolutely could happen as well with the Trump phones and Trump bricks in the wall and all of that shit. The Trump crypto, folks who invested in that lost. I mean, yeah, running with Trump at the low level can be very costly for you. Sherbert, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. In the comments, somebody said I was getting ready. Sherbert, I was getting ready to type that. Yeah, I mean, so it is what it is. Anyway, moving on with the program. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000. You will. Happy boy, with the TikTok cap, hat, and mustache goals, if you will. Support the program. We're talking about the potential for mercenaries. That's what's really frightening. Ladies and gentlemen, the only liberal that I can handle The man with the plan, the handsome liberal. Welcome to the program, handsome conservative. Thank you indeed for your support. Discussing how comfortable you are talking about taking over a sovereign country but trespass a U.S. citizen, his property, you get upset. You're right, John. I'm not disagreeing with you, but Americans have the mentality that our shit don't stink. Perfect example is what we're talking about now. We're talking about we have indicted Castro of Cuba for shooting down a plane 30-some years ago, but yet us blowing up drug boats off the coast of Venezuela is totally legal. There's so many parallels that it's crazy that Trump would even think about indicting a guy because he's done the same thing. In the comments, somebody said it's not making America great. It could be if they would share the money. Some of the things Trump is doing could potentially make America great again. If they were, they're not sharing the money. That's the problem. Is that a few of them are getting really, really wealthy and they're not passing the money on. I mean, Trump has gotten a lot of lavish items and things like that. They're just keeping the money. So what they're doing is they're creating a bigger divide between the wealthy and the people at the bottom. Black people worked for free on the plantation. What the fuck you talking about? Slaves. Hilarious. Well, I'm talking about facts. If they take over Cuba, they're not going to pay those people a good wage. I'm talking about what's factual. America has a history of exploiting cheap labor. First, it was the African Americans you're talking about. The Hispanics have been exploited. The Chinese exploited. We have a history of exploiting cheap labor. We've always done it. You think it's going to change if we get Cuba? Trump is going to have a rude awakening in November. John, you're assuming everything goes fair. I don't know. Let me go back to the next caller. Need you guys to tap the screen, get us up to 30 foul. We'll take the next caller, and we'll go over to Jeremy. Jeremy, good evening. Welcome to the program. Do you think it's possible, Jeremy, that we may actually, you think Trump is going to carry out with his Cuban fantasies?
Probably.
You support it? Thank you, Mr. Mobetta.
Really.
Not really. That sounds like you may be partially in favor of it.
I would rather Trump be in charge of Cuba than the current administration, but I'd rather Cuba Cuba overthrow its governments and put in their own guy.
So, okay, you're saying you'd rather Trump be in charge of Cuba than the Castros or who they have over there now, but considering how bad our economy is and things in this country, you really want us to spend money and resources to make Cuba great again?
You see, I'm saying if you only have two options, America taking over Cuba and Castro's administration, the Castro brothers being in charge, I'd rather have America be in charge. But then there's a third option that I think is way better. The Cuban people overthrow their own governments and put in someone new.
It's hard when the government has all the weapons and power. It ain't easy. I mean, even in America, considering how many of us are armed, it would be hard for Americans to overthrow the government if they really want to, I've said before, guns don't stop tyranny. I mean, you just think about the amount of firepower our government has. It would be hard to really, unless you can get all of the people in sync, in unison, it's hard to do that. It's really hard to do that.
Well, it can be hard, but it's far from impossible. Like, it's very, very possible in the United States. A lot of people like yourself don't think that we could. We absolutely could easily I shouldn't say easily, but we could overthrow our government pretty fast. Let's really think about this for a second. Do you know how much fuel it takes to fuel a jet?
Quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. All the major big hitters that put the U.S. military on top, assuming that the loyalty of the United States military wouldn't be questioned, because sons and daughters bombing their own people would probably make the United States military question it quite a bit, like the service members themselves. Let's say that for some reason everyone in the United States military was more than happy to just throw bombs at whoever was rebelling, no matter who they were. Even then, the logistics alone
would cripple the U.S. military. We're some of the best at logistics, but that's because there's nobody rebelling and uprising. The amount of oil it takes to fuel what's it called? The giant ships that planes are on.
Aircraft carrier.
Not a destroyer.
A carrier.
Aircraft carrier. Thank you. Yeah, carrier. The amount of oil that it takes to fuel one of those things.
Well, no, that stuff is nuclear now. They don't have to refuel it all. Let me just say it like this. I think people think we can easily overtake our government is because of two reasons. First, they don't think most of the military would cooperate with a tyrannical government. The second thing they don't take in consideration is how many citizens would be in favor of tyranny. Perfect example is the Confederates. What the Confederacy was doing was tyranny. They were breaking up the country. They were fighting against the government, trying to kill Abraham Lincoln. Millions of Americans were siding with the tyrannicals. And I do believe in this case, let's say, for instance, we wanted to overthrow the Trump administration. He could call up tens of thousands of Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, and 3%ers. They're going to be on his side. So I think folks don't realize it's going to be a lot more than just the government. A lot of citizens are going to be on the side of the people you think is the enemy.
Yeah, it'd be a true civil war, but it wouldn't be impossible by any stretch of the imagination. And people forget this. Weapons are not as hard to build as you think. They're not. If you know basic chemistry and basic engineering, you can easily build weapons. You're not
building, but you're not building some of the stuff we got in the air. I mean, you can build, look at the Ukraine. For the most part, their building amounts to drones. You're not going to build an F-22 in your garage. I mean, some of the high-end shit they got, you're not building Tomahawks and all of that. The high-end stuff they got, they're going to maintain that advantage. You're not going to build that stuff.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily need that stuff because I know that you think you need it, but first off, look at how badly our asses got kicked in Afghanistan. That was a prime example of how people who are not particularly well funded and who have a lot of disadvantages technologically can make a real problem for the United States, the most powerful military in the world. Guerrilla warfare is absolutely brutal, Tim. You can poison water supplies. You can use extortion to get people to obey and give away secret.
Yeah, but that's not true. That's not true tyranny. And that's another issue I think people make the mistake of is they think if we have a tyrannical government, it's going to come with all these limitations. True tyranny is Saddam Hussein, Slobodan Milosevic, fucking Hitler. People gassing you, using all kinds of chemical weapons. People who really want you done. I mean, they're not, people think, well, it's going to be us with our weapons. We're going to get together, a bunch of us, we got rifles and shit, we're going to take on the government. No, a true tyrannical government will use everything in our arsenal to take you out. And a lot of that stuff involves taking you out without you ever seeing who the enemy is. Flood your damn pipes in your house with some poisonous gas, that type of crazy shit. People don't think of the government going to that level. That's what real tyranny is like. It goes way beyond just the scope of what you got in your house.
Tim, let me ask you a question. How many years were we looking for Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan?
About 10. I mean, Obama took it. Well, let me see. September 11 happened in 2001. I think Obama killed him in 2010. So 9+ years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's one dude, though.
What's up?
That's just one dude, though.
Yeah, that's the point. One dude was able to hide from the greatest military the world has ever seen, the most powerful, the most wealthy, the most advanced military ever, just under a decade. Just under a decade. After masterminding one of the worst atrocities that has ever been committed against the United States outside of Pearl Harbor. You can't say that technology itself is going to be the big way that we conquer. And again, Tim, it takes a lot of jet fuel to fuel our military. It takes a lot of cooperation and with the civilians in order to make sure that our soldiers are fed. It takes a lot of cooperation with civilians and to make sure that all the tech that they get is up to date. Hell, think about all the people who could sabotage Lockheed Martin, Halliburton, and Raytheon.
I don't know if you realize how far technology has advanced. The point I'm making is this. we're already at a stage where they could now put a couple drones over your neighborhood. They can stay in there as long as 24 hours straight, and they can be programmed. Any heat signature you see in this area, just neutralize it. So you can't even come out of your fucking home. Any infrared, any signature you see, kill that. It's just flying above, and the minute anything triggers the heat signature, it just kills it. We're already at that point. You're not going to defeat that. I mean, our government has technology and weapons that can do that. So I don't see how you would be able to stop it.
Tim, unless you're talking about a Spectre gunship, which would take a lot of
a Reaper drone can stay in the air for quite a bit. It can just simply doing circles and with a scanning camera. And the minute you see something, kill it. I mean, no, you don't need what you're talking about. They got stuff they can do this now.
Like a Reaper drone can be taken out with, say, a Stinger.
If you're taking out one, the other one is taking you out.
Yeah, but like think about it. If you have a bunch of enemies that are all willing to shoot it down, that gets a lot harder. And here's what you also don't want, Tim. This is assuming that this is just Americans using their own resources, which, by the way, there would be plenty of engineers and aerospace engineers willing to create like anti-aircraft weaponry for civilians that were rebelling, because they have those kind of engineers and like who are just regular civilians. If it's just the U.S. government versus just civilians, that's
but it's not going to be like that. Yeah, it's not going. I mean, just like Trump with the funding he's paying these folks. I mean, if there is some kind of tyranny going on, the government is going to find ways to get snitches and allies from, just like the KKK or whatever. They found ways to infiltrate that, pay off people, and deal with that organization. The same thing, if you're going against the government, they're going to have folks that infiltrate your organization that are willing to help them do whatever they need to do. I mean, they got tons of money, too, in addition to weapons. They have tons of money and finances as well.
Yeah, what about foreign governments funding and giving weapons to Americans rebelling in the United States?
Yeah.
We already did it in Afghanistan to defeat the Soviets. What makes you think that the Russians and the Chinese any adversarial government that doesn't like us wouldn't be giving us tech to overthrow our own government?
User says, so you keep a Stinger in your garage. That's a good point.
No, I do not.
That's a good point. How you gonna get that stuff? You keep a Stinger in your garage. Anyway, all right, fair enough. We'll move on. So what about the notion that this payout that Trump is receiving, by the way, from his own IRS? Do you agree with what I'm saying here, that this could turn into mercenaries? If you got folks who attacked the Capitol building, and now Trump is going to find a way to suggest they were mistreated by the U.S. government and give them money, is it possible that I could tell them in the future, if Trump needs us, we're going to get a pardon and a payout to help him out? So in other words, you got mercenaries on standby. Do you see any connection there?
I don't think that's particularly wise of Trump. He's decreasing in popularity at a rate where it really wouldn't do a whole lot. Like I know it sounds a little weird, but like you could absolutely get enough people to overthrow the government if you wanted to and make Trump a dictator, if you had enough people to support you. There are strength in numbers, but he's constantly betraying his principles that honestly he never had, if we're being completely real here. And he's constantly pissing people off on his own base. More and more people are leaving MAGA as it is.
But you don't see the possibility that giving these folks money, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, 3%ers, giving them money for what they did on January 6th might not give them the hint that if he needs us in the future, like I mentioned earlier in the live, if Trump tweets out, we got a poll in place in Georgia that is really hurting the country for us patriots, and directing it. I think there's cheating. I really wish somebody would go over there and figure out what the hell's going on. You don't see where some of these folks may think, if we go over there and straighten that shit out, even if something goes wrong, Trump is going to pardon us because we're working on his behalf, and he might even throw us some cash like he did on January 6th. You don't see no possibility of that.
I see that as more likely than what you were saying earlier. Mm-hmm. Even then, like you got to remember, that's asking a lot for a lot of people, and you'd have to. The government is not very coordinated. Like they're not very good at doing any one thing completely right, except apparently blowing up brown people. That seems to be their specialty.
Blowing up brown. Wait. What do you mean by that? The government is good at blowing up brown people. What are you getting at?
That the United States government, see, like most countries, the thing that governments do particularly well is killing other people in wars. That seems to be the only thing that any government is particularly good at. They're not particularly good at distributing food. They're not good at operating our healthcare system. Not really good at anything.
You sound like a true American. You sound like a true American because there's a lot of other countries that are good at that stuff. America's a country that is known for killing people and not giving its citizens health care. But a lot of our allies, a lot of westernized nations are not good at killing people and much better at giving their citizens health care and things like that. So what you're saying is very American-like.
Well, yeah, whatever. Most other countries are not really as good as us, despite all our flaws. But anyway,
I mean, really, is Canada known for killing people? Are they really good at killing people? You ever heard of that? The Canadians?
Oh, you don't know your history about World War II, do you?
The Canadians?
You sweet summer child, you. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things in the Geneva Convention that were there explicitly because of Canada. Look it up. I'm dead serious. Look up how many times the Geneva Convention mentions Canada for war crimes. Well,
a war crime don't mean you're good at killing people. That just means you broke the law. That don't mean Hitler was good at killing people. You're talking about millions of people. You're saying that Canada was doing that?
Yeah. Like, and I really mean that. Like you know what one of their strategies was? They would throw a sandwich over like enemy lines to give the people who were on the opposite side hope, and then after doing it long enough, they would throw grenades instead, just so that way they wouldn't take cover.
Sound like you're confusing them with Israel. I got to move it on, Jeremy. I have never heard this about Canada, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 50,000. One of the things, I mentioned this earlier in the live, and I do want to respond to a couple of super chats. Handsome Conservative says, we're going to take over the world. Holy shit. I hope you're wrong, because there's some killing involved in that. He continues on by saying, not only does Canada kill its own people, it kills its elderly. Based on, what are you going with their selective health care or something like? What are you saying that Canada killed? No, I've never heard of that. Real quick before we go to the next guest, I do want you to, I played this early, but obviously there are new folks in here, and I want to play this again. And it kind of goes in line with what my guest was saying about taking over the world. But I want you to hear this from a standpoint of karma. I mentioned this earlier. Karma to me is what I'm hearing here, but listen to the clip.
Of these charges against Raul Castro, charged with 1 count of conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals, charged with 4 counts of murder. And this is in connection to a case from 1996 involving 4 men who were piloting a Cessna flying over waters near Cuba. And they were part of a humanitarian mission. If our viewers can recall, back in the 90s, there was this surge of Cubans fleeing the Castro regime and going into the U.S., and some of them stranded at sea. Elian Gonzalez, if anybody can remember that name, the 5-year-old boy, that was a big case that captured the attention of this country.
So you hear her saying it's going back all the way to the Elian Gonzalez era. So this is well over 30 years ago. Now, you heard her say Cuba shot down a Cessna. So that's a small, like, family plane. The death toll was 4. 4 people died. 3 of them were Americans. And they're going after Castro because they're saying he ordered this strike. Now the Cuban government, the Castros, claim that this plane was flying over Cuban airspace. So they shot down a plane that they're suggesting was violating their airspace. And I'm bringing this up because we're indicting this man for a crime he committed allegedly 30 plus years ago, in regards to shooting what he thought was a threat to his own airspace. Right or wrong, that's what he's claiming. We're claiming it was outright murder. I made the connection in the beginning of the live. What's the difference between what we're accusing him of and Trump bombing those drug boats? They believe that the Cessna flying over Cuba was a threat to their country. Whether it was in Cuban airspace or not is disputed. I think the UN, the United Nations, says it was in international waters. Well, the United Nations also says the drug boats we blew up were in international waters as well. Yet we claim that those boats were a threat to this country, that they were bringing drugs to this country. They believe this was a threat to their country. The point I'm making is what we're indicting him on, President Trump qualifies. President Trump is pretty much guilty of the exact same thing, ordering a controversial strike that resulted in loss of life that we're claiming the Castros did. Opening himself up, maybe in the future, for somebody to indict him. Now, he's an American, talking about President Trump, so I don't know how likely it is America would hand him over, but he's pissed off enough liberals that if we did get a liberal government there, God knows who knows. I mean, he's pissed off enough liberals that if you get a real strong liberal government in there, they may hand him over. But I'm just simply saying, the Castros took down a plane in international airspace. We blew up boats in international waters. They claimed the plane was a threat to their nation. We claim the boats was a threat to our nation. The similarities are there all over the place. I don't know why he would indict this guy and expose himself to the same thing. I just don't. Other than he thinks he'll get away with it. So we'll look at it. We'll leave it at that. But in addition to that, before I go to the next guest and get us up to 50,000, tap the screen, help us out with the hat, mustache, TikTok cap goals, if you will. Show the program some love. I played this one earlier too, but like I said, new folks in here. I want to show you how propaganda is done. Because folks often claim about how the mainstream media, the liberal media flips shit. This is Fox News in regards to this same discussion we're having now.
Reports of a potential threat to our nation from Cuba. Axios is reporting the communist island nation is buying attack drones from Russia and Iran. So far, some 300 drones. And the communist government of Cuba recently began discussing plans to potentially use those drones to attack U.S. targets, including Guantanamo Bay and possibly Key West, Florida. Here's
And then she goes on and talks to a Navy SEAL about this, but you see the map there. They're trying to tell their viewers that Cuba is thinking about potentially attacking America, a preemptive strike on maybe Guantanamo, the Naval Air Force Base, or even Key West. This small nation that she admits has just received 300 drones are going to take on a juggernaut like the United States. There's no way in hell Cuba's thinking about attacking the United States. But for Fox viewers who are not likely to watch CNN or MS Now or even at some of the mainstream networks to counter this, you're going to have Fox viewers easily convinced that Trump needs to do this because Cuba was threatening to attack us. This is crazy. Cuba, and the Trump administration is already saying that Cuba poses a national security risk to America. We are at no threat whatsoever from the nation of Cuba. But this is how you're able to get the backing of American citizens to attack countries, by stuff like this. Telling the folks that Cuba is possibly a threat to the United States and even contemplating attacking us. This is what Trump said about Iran, is that if they would have had a nuclear bomb by now and they would have already used it. That's what he said many times, that if he didn't attack Iran, they would have had a nuclear bomb within a week or two, and they were going to immediately launch a nuclear strike on America. And a lot of folks on the right believe that. Looking in the comments, Gen X says, and if Cuba did a preemptive strike, the U.S. liberals would cheer for Cuba and blame Trump. It ain't even worth discussing. Cuba's in the fucking dark. They don't even have enough oil to run their basic, their essentials. They're not about to launch an attack on the United States. Probably the only reliable power on the Cuban island is on our Naval Air Force base. I guarantee our base is not in the dark. It's just the Cuban people are. So it's crazy that people actually would believe this. Looking in the, and that's what handsome conservatives are going to take over the world. That's frightening. Americans are born in a stars and stripes diaper and marinated with propaganda, playing the flag from a young age and taught that the USA is the best and only free country in the world. That is true. That absolutely is true. I've said it many times. People don't want their children being given LGBTQ or CRT propaganda in schools and things like that. Yeah, when you put your hand over your heart and say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, you're being propagandized, right? I mean, how many kindergartners? We all said that shit in first, second grade. How many people that are there, how many kids that young know what it means to pledge allegiance to a nation? Yeah, you're feeding them propaganda. You're actually doing it to them at a young age. That first grader don't know what it means to pledge allegiance to a nation. You already got them saying it. Let me go back to the box and we'll make it happen with Mike, the boss. Good evening. Is that Mike the boss? Mike Dean? Trump is ungodly, says Packer 59. What does that mean? Wow. Wasn't China just over in Cuba? If China attacked, yes, Cuba could be helping since we have Air Force and naval go. If was a fifth, Trump just met with China and claimed it was an awesome meeting. Now all of a sudden the Chinese and Cuba is about to attack us so that we can make our attack on Cuba make sense, huh? Okay. Trump was just bragging on how great the meeting with Cuba was. Now, because we want to attack Iran, we want to attack Cuba. We're going to pretend like the Chinese are helping them all of a sudden now. Make that make sense. Bruce Leroy. Haven't heard that name in a while. America is just a bigger, stronger North Korea. I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that. In fact, I think America is significantly more aggressive than North Korea is. I don't know if I would say America's a bigger, in what way? We don't treat our people like the North Koreans treat their people. And North Koreans are nowhere near as aggressive as America is. I don't know how you would compare those two. You got to make a better connection than that. Don't know what's happening. I'm trying to bring up guests and it's not letting me. Let's try Mike the boss again. Biggest thing right now, hold on a second, Mike. Biggest thing right now is misdirection. They want you to take and blame everything on the poor or look over here so you're not really looking at what's going on. I'm hearing that from a lot of places. Do you agree with that, Mike, that there's a lot of deliberate distractions going on?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. What are they trying to distract us from?
Well, we still got 50% of the e-files that haven't been released. They still don't want people to pay attention to the fact that the big beautiful bill is kicking in and people are losing coverage, people are losing services. I mean, that's actually a real thing that's happening. Listen, Tim, I told you this news cycle moves so fast.
Yeah.
And they say so much stuff that within a week we won't be talking about this $1.7 billion next week.
Well,
would you like to take that wager? Would you
No, I won't, because if we attack Cuba, that's going to certainly take over the news.
Yeah, but first of all, I want to go back to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
This country's never lived up to that pledge, ever.
Explain.
Because when you say with liberty and justice for all, and if you read the definition to liberty, would you like me to read it out loud?
Yeah, you already said enough. I'm on your side with the liberty and justice for all.
I want to read this shit.
Go ahead and read it. You got liberty and justice for all, but go ahead and read it.
The condition of being free from oppressive restrictions, control, or physical confinement imposed by an authority. We've never been free of that.
No.
Liberty has never been offered to everyone. So we've never held up to that pledge, to your point, that you have children stand up and pledge an oath to, because I remember doing that in school.
Yep.
And never understanding that I'm putting my hand over my heart, and again, not by choice. Now, let's be clear. You had to stand up in school.
Yep. Back in them days, you definitely did.
And pledge to a nation that a nation never held up their own pledge to you.
Yeah, back in them days, you would have gotten in trouble. Nowadays, you got kids sitting during the anthem and shit like that. But back in our day, yeah, you had to stand up for that.
Yeah. And so that is, anyway, real quick. Tap the screen, share the live. Let's get Tim up to 75,000.
I appreciate that.
Let's get him up to 75,000. Let's hit his live goal. If we get everybody, we got to make sure that a brother's getting paid for his time.
Shit. You got me feeling like a Trump associate. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, I got you.
And then the comments, and hold on, in the comments, Handsome Conservative, you said they call it assisted suicide. I dare you to look it up. What are you saying? Not only does Canada kill its, you're talking about their, Canada kills its own people and including its elderly. Oh, you talking about suicide? I don't believe that's a country considered. If an old person is dying of an ailment and they have the cognitive ability to tell you, I would like to just take my own life and stop suffering, I don't consider that the country murdering them. If the country allows you, Dr. Kevorkian style, to take your own life while you're in pain and suffering, I don't view that. I get the religious aspect, which is where I think he's coming from. Do you see that as murder?
No, I don't. Listen, let me say this, Tim, and before we get done, I really want to address this. I have unfortunately, in my lifetime, probably dealt with maybe a dozen family, friends that have gone through terminal illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had to learn the hard way. When you watch somebody go through that,
right,
and they decide that they're ready to go, unless you've been through it, you can't understand that moment.
Mm.
You can't. Hell, I'm gonna keep it honest. There was a couple of times I wanted to do it myself.
Damn.
Just because, again, Tim, when you go through it, and unfortunately, I've been through it too many times to count. I told you I lost my brother 2 years ago to the same thing, August 2nd. It's going to be 2 years this August, 2024.
And thank you, Crystal.
I'm telling you that when people are feeling that way and they want to go because of those certain, man, I just don't. I understand. This is anecdotal for me, so so don't take that. People can feel what they want, but I've sat there and watched people not be able to, breathe for days, and they're in agony, and you can hear them in the other room and scratching and clawing, and they just want to go. So, hey, if I could have, I would have did it.
Yeah, it's the religious aspect. People believe that it's up to God to make that decision. You shouldn't be able to do it. But I'm kind of with you. If I'm suffering and there's no end to it, it's already terminal. Why should I have to just ride this all the way out to the end? There's no benefit in making me go through this for another 4 or 5 days. I mean, just for the sake of doing it. I mean, if there's a
and you're not the only one going through it. Anybody that loves you is watching you.
Right.
Anybody that loves you is watching somebody that they can't recognize before. The pain that the people that are watching goes through, I would argue, it could be just as equal. Because it's just, but anyway, so that's my take.
Fair enough. And I see in the comments somebody said, before we get into it, Mike, somebody said when the entire world throws the biggest party known to man, when Trump kicks the bucket, y'all gonna call it TDS. Go ahead. What were you about to say? You don't think people really gonna celebrate that man's demise, do you?
Absolutely, they are. Unequivocally, 100%, absolutely.
Is that wrong? Is that wrong? Is that morally wrong?
Here's what I think. I won't celebrate it. I won't mourn it either.
Mm.
I'll stay neutral. I'll be like, it is what it is, but I won't celebrate it.
Yeah.
That's just me. I just go, okay.
What's next? I see Miss Mobetta says ding dong, as in ding dong, the witch is dead. I don't know. You talking about the loss of life, though. I don't know if you celebrate the man.
But the reason I say that, Tim, is I can't have a bleeding heart for someone that never had one to begin with. That's just me.
Yeah. He's ruined a lot of lives. I mean, I don't argue he's ruined a lot of lives. And not only ruined lives, but took pleasure. I mean, he was literally posting pictures of Iranians being killed to Lil Wayne's rap songs and things like. I mean, they've taken pleasure in killing people. So I understand.
Yeah, so,
I understand it.
But I won't celebrate it. I won't do that. I won't block my blessings that way because that's not, But again, that's just me. But listen, I wanted to talk about something because I heard you earlier talking to the. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, straight talk.
I would rather be on a panel with. By the way, Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, I'm learning to gain respect for you, Jeremy, because at least you've come to a point where you're just calling a spade, even though if I don't agree with all of your premises, I can at least have a conversation with you. So if you're still in there, respect, dude. I respect.
Jeremy is coming. Obviously, there's a difference between MAGA and conservatives. Jeremy is coming across as a conservative. He's not MAGA. He leans right. That's fine. But he's not like blindly in the tank for Trump. He is a conservative. That's probably why you disagree with him, but you're gaining respect for him because he's starting to look like just a regular conservative.
Correct. He's not MAGA anymore. He can have a conversation. He can call a thing out as a thing. And for people that don't know in here, there's been no love lost between me and Jeremy. We've been talking shit to each other on this app. He calls me Michael the bitch and all that shit. So it's not like we haven't had our things, but I can, at least we can have a conversation. But I'd rather talk to, handsome conservative, DJ Julio, and MAGA Reacts before Straight Talks, all at the same time. Because, listen, he was saying things when you're on his live, and I know he's here, I don't give a fuck. It's hard to debate somebody that just spews shit and never sources anything. He said some.
Give me some examples. Give me some examples.
When he was talking about the border, he said that Biden said, "Come on in." He literally said, and then the funny part is, they literally said the complete opposite.
Yeah. Kamala Harris is on video saying, "Do not come." I remember because I made jokes about the CUM. She sounded like she was saying, "Don't come," but yeah, she literally was on video saying, "Don't come." So yeah.
Literally, the caravans that he was talking about. They keep forgetting that these caravans were at the border when Trump was in office.
Yeah, that is true.
They always say that shit, Tim, and I'm like. In 2018, when Trump was talking about caravans at the border, he was in fucking office. But they forget that shit because he tells them, he just says it, and they never fact check it.
Yeah.
Right?
My biggest pushback on him was the claim that under Biden the borders were open. I'm totally agreeing that, in my opinion, I don't think Biden was doing a good job enforcing the borders. But jumping to the notion that the borders were open under Biden is ridiculous because, like I told him, you think I asked him, I said, what number do you give that people came in under Biden? He said between 15 and 20 million. I was like, you think it would only be 15 or 20 million people coming in this country if they announced to the world the borders were open? It'd have been 100 million. It'd have been a whole lot more people. And the fact is, people got deported under the Biden administration. If the borders are open, nobody should be deported. And that obviously didn't happen. So this whole claim that the borders were open under Biden, to me, removes the credibility. To me, the truth of what happened with the border under Biden is worse enough. You don't need to make up shit and make it sound worse than it actually was. The truth is enough.
Well, and again, you're right, Tim. The truth is enough for everything that was happening from the inception of the vid all the way until 2023, 2024. Right? And that's what I've been saying this whole time. The way that Donald Trump handled it from the beginning and what Biden had to handle once he got it. Neither one of Donald Trump lied, and everyone else doesn't know what the hell we're really dealing with. So you kind of learn it as you go along. I hate the notion that Fauci and the the Biden administration lied because they were talking about masks and distancing and all of this stuff. I'm like, we were all learning on the fly.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, you got a whole... You just grab pieces of duct tape.
Here's what I don't get. If you're going to hold Fauci accountable for saying things that were not true, Trump was the one that said COVID would be gone by April. How does he get a pass?
Absolutely.
How does he get a pass?
He said that this was some really nasty, sick shit on audio talking about Woodward, and then brought his ass on the stage and said, not a big deal.
Yeah.
He did do that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I didn't want to stay too long on that, but it drives me crazy that people on this app like Straight Talk who believe he's being, I don't believe that he believes that shit. I believe that he's tied into propaganda because he never, ever debates anybody and pulls up facts. Never. He runs. Every time he runs. I joined the queue just to see if he'll bring me up. I know he's not bringing me up. I already know he's not bringing me up. Because I'm like the IRS to him. I'm looking for receipts.
And that's speaking of the IRS, that's something that, and my phone overheated. That's how I ended up dropping out. I didn't drop out on intentionally. I was in the car with him, and the hot sun comes through the window, and my phone kicked me off. It said overheating. But one of the things I don't get in regards to this actual story here about the potentially the January 6th participants and all of these folks getting money because Trump's taxes were released, which is what's leading to him getting this huge settlement. How does he end up settling when it was his own IRS that had to leak? It's not like his taxes got leaked under Biden or Obama. He was in charge when this happened.
Because they set it up. This is collusion, you guys. So if you want to know what collusion or the definition of collusion, you can't be engaged on both sides of the argument or both sides of the event where you create a claim and then you gain from said claim, right? Like you cannot do that. This is corruption and collusion at its finest. Now, for all of you MAGAs out there, before you say something, please don't put anything in the comments before I say this, else you're going to look like a dummy. All I want you to do is take Trump out of this agreement and insert Biden and insert BLM and then ask yourself, are you okay with Biden having a slush fund where he's going to pay BLM supporters that were arrested? And he's going to say, don't look at any of my taxes or Hunter's taxes or my businesses ever, and tell me you're okay with it. Now, that's the question you need to ask when they come up, Tim. The only answer they could possibly have, the party of waste, fraud, and abuse, the only answer they could have is absolutely fucking not. Just switch the parties in this, because what we're watching, people, he is going to create, I agree with you 100%, Tim. Those people are already loyal to him. Now he's going to give them money. And I want you to understand, in my opinion, that 1.76 billion was not an arbitrary number. They have already done calculations on who they're going to pay and how much they're going to pay. Because why stop at 1.76, Tim?
Here's what I also don't get, though. Okay, if Trump's taxes were leaked and that alone is worth a $1.8 billion payout, a lot of these Epstein victims, they didn't leak any of the abusers. They leaked the names of the abused. Why don't they get a payout? These women were embarrassed. Their information is out there. I think, did they leak any nude pictures of any? I mean, they leaked a lot of shit on the girls they got abused. How the hell does MAGA patriots or whatever you want to call them on January 6th get a payout, and the girls that were victimized by this shit does not? How does that even work?
Because they don't care about these women, Tim. I already told you, this country does not care about, they care about the elite. They don't care about women. They don't care about children, because the e-files are about women and children. Because those children are now grown.
Yeah.
And so you didn't care about them then, and you don't care about them now. And and then for Mike Johnson to get on TV and say that their $174,000 salary isn't enough to live on, so they need to be able to make trades and stock trades. You did see that, right?
Yeah, I saw it. The stock trade thing though, because Nancy Pelosi's husband was so deeply involved in it. I don't know how the president shouldn't be trading stocks based on policies he's making, but I mean, look, that's been happening. That is a both sides issue. So if you're going to go after Trump for that, and I think the liberals, once this is, hold on, let me say this before you go. I think once this is over with, there's so many things to go after Trump on. I don't think they're going to fuck with him on that. because there's plenty of Democrats that would fall from that too.
But here's the difference, and I don't disagree with you, but here's the difference. When the Democrats put a bill on the floor to stop this shit, just this last session,
right,
voted it down.
The Republicans shot it down. That is true.
Okay, so once you shoot down change that you complain about, now you're part of the problem.
Yeah, but I'm gonna push back and say you only wanted to change it once Nancy and some of them Democrats had made all their money, not Trump and they're making money. You suddenly want to change the law. I know it's fluffing or it's bullshit, but I'm just simply saying too many Democrats made money trading stock as well. I don't think bring it up. Well, they tried to change it under Trump, or you guys wasn't okay with it. I don't know. And thank you, handsome conservative.
When Trump was in office the first time, did the Republicans put a bill on the floor to stop any of that? Because they made money in his first term too.
That's what I said. It's both sides. Both sides are doing that.
I know, Tim. But what they don't talk about is the other side. All they talk about is Nancy. They don't talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. They don't talk about the 3,600 transactions that Donald Trump made from January to the beginning of February. 3,600 trade transactions. All the deals he's making, he's got a backdoor stock options on all of that shit.
They do talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene now once she's on the wrong side. They have brought it up now. Yeah, they weren't talking about it when she was doing it. Oh, hold on. Real quick in the comments. Alex B says, y'all never cared about Epstein during Obama-Biden administration. Now it matters. Yeah, but you did care about it during the Obama-Biden administration, and now it don't matter to you. So now you're suddenly quiet about it. Go ahead, Mike.
Even if that were, although that's not true, sometimes you give concessions for the conversation. But I just find, listen, Tim, if I voted for Tim, I said, I'm going to vote for Tim for Senate. And I said, I'm voting for Tim because he's not like the others. And I said, and then somebody said, well, tell me what about the others? And I said, they're crooks and they do this and they take money and they do these things. And I'm voting for Tim because Tim is different.
Drain the swamp.
The minute Tim gets in the office and does the same shit, what I need to do at that moment is be completely off of the handsome liberals' boat. Because he is not who I thought he was.
Well,
see, we have to make it.
They switch from Trump, because you're right. Trump promised to drain the swamp and not be like the crooked politicians. He wasn't even taking a salary, which made him, you didn't have to worry about him being bought out or being money hungry. He got his own money, they said. Yeah, and then the minute he got in there and started doing the same shit all the other crooked politicians did, the defense went from he's going to be better and drain the swamp to, well, they all kind of do that. Like, that ain't what he promised. He promised not to be like all of them.
Right. Well, and here's why you're right. And here's why I hold on to this so dearly. Is because has not been a normal political cycle. People stormed the Capitol because they were so disenfranchised with the Biden administration and all the fraud and all the abuse and all of the things. They talk about Democrats eating to all the stuff, Tim, all of the stuff, QAnon and MAGA and they went above and beyond anything we've seen in our lifetime. That's how deep
we are living. Yeah, we living in history. Right? We living in history. If I said it before. If they write a book on the Trump presidency, it's going to be like an encyclopedia. You got to write it in eras. I mean, there's so many different things. You can't put it all in one book.
But yeah, you're right. But I'm going to ask you this: how are you so adamant about something, and then when you see it again, you say nothing? Like Tim, tell me that one thing. You personally, right? Like, I don't do that. Like, I don't, nope. And then to excuse it when you see someone else do it.
Faith.
I mean, isn't it?
It's faith,
Mike. This is why I have such a visceral reaction to these people. Because not only, and here's the thing, Trump says whatever he wants. Trump hasn't produced a shred of evidence to back up any of this shit in 12 years. And we go all the way back to the birtherism. From all the way back to Barack's birth certificate to today, he hasn't produced one shred of evidence for his allegations.
Faith, Mike.
They'll come up here and repeat that shit.
I'm telling you, it's faith. It's the faith that regardless of what's going on, regardless of what Trump says or how the liberals deal with it, I have faith that it will ultimately turn out right as long as Trump is at the leader, is at the wheel. I just faith in Trump. That's what I believe. It's about faith.
Have you seen God and Country? Have you seen the documentary God and Country?
No.
There's a documentary I want y'all to go watch called God and Country. I want you guys to watch it. And you.
Did he get a call?
Yeah, I did. This nation has always taken religion and literally bastardized it, which is blasphemous. They bastardized it into this belief, into their ideology. And it's crazy, but that's where we are right now.
That's why we're defending Israel. I got to move it on, but I've held a few lies. That's why we're defending Israel no matter what, is because people believe it was biblically prophesied that we must ride with Israel. I've played clips of Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham pretty much saying it. It's in the Bible. You must work with them, otherwise you'll be cursed. So you're right. Bastardizing religion is old as the country itself. Last word.
That's right. So I'm gonna leave it here. At the end of the day, we have to still pay attention to these elections. We still have to pay attention to midterms. We still have to pay attention to what's going on over in Iran. And I'm gonna tell you, this is my prediction. I'm gonna make this prediction. Now that Thomas Massey lost.
Oh, in Texas? Oh no,
Yes.
Yeah.
Kentucky.
You think Texas is about to go partially blue?
No, that's not my prediction. This is my prediction. The Senate has already ruled on the Iran war powers. They've already ruled. The Senate has already ruled to limit them. Now it goes to the House. It only has to be by a simple majority, right?
I know where you're going, and I agree with you. I'm surprised I didn't make this a topic. Go ahead and make your point, because I know where you're going. And I kind of agree with that.
Thomas Massey is about to have his John McCain moment.
Yeah.
He's about to have his John. This is my opinion. This is my prediction. He's gonna have a moment where he can go, because I think it's gonna be along party lines, but there's gonna be one or two votes, and the people that just lost are going to play. And Cassidy already did. Now it's gonna come down to Thomas Massey. That's what I think. And why would he not do it?
Yeah.
He has nothing to lose at this point.
I'll discuss it in detail, Mike. I appreciate you coming through. Thank you.
All right, brother.
And I agree with him 100% that the folks that Trump primary, folks who voted to impeach him on January 6th, or folks who voted to release the Epstein files, Republicans that he's pissed off at because they didn't, one or two things they did he thought was disloyal. So he's primaried them. They still have, I think was it Massey? One of them said, I still got 7 months left. I'm still a congressman, because the inauguration doesn't take place until January of 2027. So even though, like, what is her name? Jasmine Crockett, she's out, but she's still there until January of 2027. So the point being, what my last caller was saying, and I totally agree with, is you got a lot of disgruntled Republicans now. I don't know why Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't kind of do the same shit. She could have stayed in Congress until January and did the same thing. But that's the point I'm making, is you're attacking your own people while they're still in power. And as Mike pointed out, some of the votes, because Congress is only slightly in favor of the Republican Party. And now you're chopping that down by pissing off some of your own people, by primarying them and saying, because now he wants Bobart. He's already talked about attacking Lorena Bobart. These folks know the writing is on the wall. I'm out anyway. So I might have, as he mentioned, a John McCain moment where John McCain shot down Trump's attempt to end Obamacare or universal health care. When he walks up and gives a thumbs down. President Trump is kind of shooting off his own, nose to spite your foot or whatever, however the hell that saying goes. Why would you do that? These people still have several months in Congress and Senate. The only thing that Trump can really do to prevent these folks that are now disgruntled from going rogue is, I guess, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is going to try to prevent Congress from operating. Now you know you don't have the votes for a lot of shit. So just keep sending people on endless vacations or some shit like that. But to me, that was not smart for Trump to do that. I mean, just so focused on just yourself, just getting revenge, because the people he is going after in the Republican Party still sided with him in many cases as much as 90 to 95% of the time. Marjorie Taylor Greene voted in favor of Trump's policies like 96% of the time. Like, he literally demands 100% compliance or he'll throw you under the bus. Marjorie Taylor Greene was as MAGA gets. She just simply wanted to get to the bottom of a pedophile scam that Trump led them to believe he was going to be part of. And that made her a traitor. That's crazy. But these folks, now that he's disgruntled some of them folks, they could stay behind and wreak havoc. We'll see. Handsome conservative, appreciate that. He said, don't tell my last caller that you were actually agreeing with him. Handsome conservative agreeing with Mike the Boss, huh? Wow. Different day and age, huh? Yikes. But yeah, I don't know why he would do that. That to me, that was a suicidal mission to do that to yourself. That's like political suicide. I don't know why you would do that, leave all these folks disgruntled. And then he's bragging about going after Bobart and some of these other folks. These people are still in power. They still can vote down. I mean, you done already said everything bad about them, so they ain't got nothing to lose at this point. Hence his statement about the John McCain moment. Tap the screen, get the likes up to 75,000. Big Bo says nobody runs faster than Duke. We haven't heard from Duke this evening, but if he comes up, we'll certainly bring him up. BEC Marjorie Greene got paid aside and left out of the country with negotiations to bash president, but whoever followed Greene knows the wrong she did, and traitor President Trump is still number one. Let me just say this. It's interesting that none of these people are bad guys until Trump says they are. Just like Liz Cheney was allegedly some kind of traitor. January 5th, the day before this protest you see on the page here, or insurrection, whatever you want to call it, Marjorie Taylor Greene was viewed favorably by the party. She votes to have Trump impeached for this mess, and suddenly she's this huge traitor. We've known all along she's a bad woman. You ain't said shit. And if it wasn't for her, if she had voted not to impeach Trump, she would still be a congresswoman. It's interesting how he can say something about a candidate or about a politician, and boom, we've known all along they were a traitor. You've been showing up at the rallies. You've been applauding the shit she was doing, celebrating them, all of that. Trump says this is a bad person, but we knew all along she was a bad guy. No, you didn't. You wasn't saying shit about her. There's no clips of people really criticizing Marjorie Taylor Greene from the MAGA side of the aisle. You wasn't saying shit about her until Trump had a problem with her. Now all of a sudden you know all along she was a bad person. Huh? Yeah. Thomas Massey is hardcore Trump, but he is also hardcore Epstein files and anti-APAC. Yeah, but he could also have a grudge. I mean, look, he wouldn't be the first person that went against his own principles just to get revenge. You think Trump isn't doing some of that? I mean, the man is ending political careers and costing people thousands of dollars and causing folks to get death threats. Yeah, I'm hardcore Trump, but fuck him. That's how some of these folks may feel. Yeah, normally I would have voted with all that shit, but fuck him. You know, ended my career, cost me millions, thousands, if not millions of dollars. I mean, there may be folks that just simply say, forget that. I'm going up, just like Trump. Trump puts revenge over everything else. You think he's the only one that does that? Massey needs to run as an independent in 2028. I don't think he would go very far as an independent. I mean, now he may hurt the Republican Party, but obviously he's not going to get MAGA. So that's a chunk of the Republican side. Democrats ain't going to vote for him. So if Massey ran as an independent for president in 2028, all he's going to do is be a spoil sport for the Republican Party, because he would take off some of the Republican votes. He's not going to get many on the left at all. He had a press conference the other day. He said 1,000 words to say both, huh? Doesn't matter. He will hurt the MAGA party. That is true. He would absolutely do that. Going back to the box, help your boy with the TikTok cap go, hat mustache, if you will. We'll continue the program on with the one and only Miss Mo Better. Good evening and welcome to the program, Miss Mo. Hey, so paid violent protesters. That's what it looks like we're looking at. That the Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, fucking 3%ers, they may receive cash for what they did on January 6th. What say you?
But I have a question, and this question is for MAGA, because y'all was saying that the J6ers was Antifa, and Antifa. So is that who the money is going to? Is it going to Antifa? I really want to know, because they've been hollering that ever since it happened. Hey y'all, they've been hollering that shit ever since it's happened. That's Antifa. Oh, they were hired by the 3-letter agency.
That's a great point.
CIA.
They were
paid actors.
Yeah,
make this shit make sense, Tim.
It don't. They was also saying Black Lives Matter was in that crowd as well. It don't make sense when you look at it like that. When you take it apart logically, it falls all apart. So now
they okay with a payment. They okay with it. See, and that's the thing. They again keep throwing out these distractions so I can keep picking your pockets with their slow asses.
I don't know. I think when it comes to the MAGA side of the aisle, I think their biggest celebration is on Trump's victories over the left. Even if the money is coming out of their pocket to do it, the people that they perceive that were bad to America, whether we're talking about some of these minority immigrants or LGBTQ, as long as you're making them suffer, I don't care if I go bankrupt. I still think you're doing a good job. Just get them motherfuckers. I think that's their view.
And that just shows you the level of their mentality. For them to even fucking think like that, because nothing that Trump is doing or has done since he's been in the office has done anything to benefit anybody in America right now. But him and his cronies, those people that he took over there to China the other day to all sell their stuff. That was all about. It had nothing to do with us.
Yeah. Well,
selling chips and planes and shit. What does that have to do with the American people and us having lower gas prices?
Nothing. But like I said, I don't think lowering gas prices and turning the country's economy around is that serious or that important with MAGA. As long as he is creating liberal tiers and going after perceived enemies of the country, The View and Kimmel and all these other crazy leftists, as long as he's doing that, the rest of that shit is optional.
He's not doing anything to them. All he's doing is raising their rates. Their ratings are up. He's not doing anything to them. They're making a complete fool out of him.
Colbert is, I don't know. Stephen Colbert is off the air now. That's Trump. That wouldn't have happened without Trump.
That had to do with his contract. It had nothing to do with really Trump. He whined about this shit. His contract was up. You have to go read it.
You really think that if Biden or Kamala Harris had got elected, they would not have renewed his contract?
Maybe not.
I don't. Colbert was still a.
Maybe not, but because you know why? A lot of them are getting away with it. They're making more money having podcasts and stuff. They're getting a lot more endorsements and stuff that way. Oh. So he's made his money off of that show. He ain't really losing out on nothing.
No, I'm not saying the guy is broke, but I definitely believe that if Kamala Harris or Biden was still in office, he would still be on TV. I think that is solely because of pressure from Trump, that all of a sudden now his contract and the money he's making is not enough. It's because the Paramount merger and Trump threatened the merger. I think that had Trump not been in office, that guy would still be around.
Possibly, because he's that I'm gonna take my ball and go home type of man. No. He's not a man. He's a child trapped in a man's body. He should have had some counseling before entering into this realm. And for people, bullying is not making a deal. Going over there threatening people, that's not making a deal. That's not business.
I don't disagree, but that Trump has had a lot of luck. I believe even as
you got a lot of people that are tyrannical just like he is. So like you were saying, people voted for Kamala because that was
always put.
Hang on a second, my damn. Go ahead, repeat that.
A lot of people voted sure they were anti-Biden. So
yeah.
It all could be true at the same time. They had the same thing. The same thing going on. However, those numbers ain't lying. They keep talking about, Biden had the economy up. Yeah, it was up to 9% because we were in a global pandemic. Guess what? He brought it down to 2.7% before he left office. What are the numbers now? And then they keep talking about, why they didn't go after them, the Epstein. First of all, it was an open investigation. Ghislaine had an appeal going on. They could not release none of that stuff. It was still an active investigation. So it wasn't allowed. And second of all, his supporters are the one who started that bullshit. So when they found out it was more of him in there than the people that they were accusing in there, then they wanted to flip the script. Before it was Oprah in there, Tom Hanks in there, bro. You had all of these people that they were naming in there, and you go through those files, you don't see none of their names.
How about this? Now, this is somewhat off topic, but I saw it in the comments, so I got to read it. Coming from Brandon Ball, he says Kamala Harris is a liar, and she didn't even claim to be black until it was election time.
They full of shit. They ain't hear shit about Kamala until she was running. So people just talk to hear themselves talk. They like the sound of their own voice. Shut the fuck up. She did claim that she was black.
Yeah, I gotta think that when she ran for
first of all, her nationality or her race or anything wasn't the top of the priority. They heard Trump say one thing and they took it and ran with it. That's what they do. They're not free thinkers. They don't think for themselves. They need AI to talk for them now. They can't even talk for themselves. They got to go to Chat GPT to get anything out.
I gotta think when she was a district attorney and then she was the state's attorney general. I'm sure that people were like, this is one of the first few female black attorney generals, and then she became a senator. I'm sure she was running as a black woman. That didn't just happen when she got elected.
I get that. But see, they keep saying that she wasn't black, but then they were mad because she's a black woman that locked up black people. So which way do they want it? You can't have it both ways. They got to knock that shit off.
Yeah, if I say it all the time, if Kamala Harris had knocked over a liquor store, the wanted posters would be talking about we looking for a black woman. A Jamaican and Indian, they don't put that on a poster. She would be a black woman.
Black. They gonna look at the color of your skin. Is she a light-skinned black woman? Absolutely, but she is a black woman. Get over it.
Yeah.
But see, a lot of people that keep saying that bullshit, they still try to discredit that black women are educated, and that was their upbringing. That's what was going on in their households at their dinner tables. These are the things that they would talk about. You understand? First of all, they didn't even see us as humans. They seen us as 3/5 of a human. Right. So when you hear somebody that's why they try to say she slept her way to the top, because they wanted to deny the education.
I don't get that. I don't.
That she put in. That's their problem. That's the denial on them.
I don't get how anybody could bring up Kamala Harris's sexual exploits when her opposition is Trump and Melania. Like both of them. Like, you think Melania didn't give up the ass? I mean, she got pictures of her butt ass naked.
Like she was a blunt. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, you're gonna bring up sexual exploits of Kamala Harris that happened years ago when her competition is Trump and Melania? Like, that's crazy.
Come on. How many times Trump has been married? And
like 4, I think.
He's one of his wives.
Yeah, I just.
Get out of here. Buried her on his property, don't even visit the grave site. He did that to keep her paying taxes.
But I'll tell you something, though. It does show how differently we treat females that are promiscuous from guys, because they're chastising her for one affair, and they're celebrating Trump, who's had multiple ones.
Yeah, and they talk about, he ain't a PD. He admitted to walking in a locker room with half-dressed teenage girls because he could do that.
Yeah. That's our president. That's our president, Miss Mo.
Listen, the people that voted for him need to be studied. We know who he is because he shows who he is. The people that actually voted for him and uphold the shit that he do needs to be studied. like I said, they need to check a lot more people's laptops and see what the fuck they looking at when they not on TikTok. Go check. A lot of people be fucking exposed because they nasty just like him.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, Handsome Conservative says that's not true. I say bring on the promiscuous women. I love them.
It's all over the place. They all over the place. You just gotta look in the right area.
Yeah, but the point I'm just simply saying is they're going on her for having an affair, and yeah, like you mentioned, Trump had an affair on all of his wives. Stormy Daniels is in there. You got a half a dozen women or more accusing him of rape. You got kids out there saying he raped them and shit. But you're bringing up Willie Brown, like really?
who was legally separated when he did have an affair. But again, they don't read. They tell you if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a fucking book. I think it's more about the Trump hierarchy is that they just, because I don't think MAGA, you don't need to read. I think everybody knows Trump has been promiscuous. He hung around the Playboy Mansion. You don't hang around there unless you get hung around the folks. Clinton, he was hanging around Bill. I mean, he was hanging around people. They say birds of a feather. He's hanging around all these folks. You know what he's doing. Yep. Hey, shit. Clinton was getting blew off right there in the White House. Like, come on. Let's stop pretending here. But you can't have selective morals. Don't act like your morals go away when it's your people's, but you can see everybody else in theirs. And that's why I told him, this whataboutism is played the fuck out. You can't, it's not a flex. When you point out one thing and then you say, oh, well, what about Obama? What about Biden? What about ism shit is played the fuck out.
But how do you think he's gotten in a position where his supporters will criticize person A and he could for doing something and he could do the same thing and they're suddenly okay with it? How do you get to that level?
Period. You just got to be slow as fuck. And like I tell you, they really need to be studied. Because they see the same shit everybody else is seeing. How all our numbers. There's nothing that he's doing is benefiting America. But they said, oh, we need somebody that's tough. Well, we sure people around the world laughing at his ass. They're laughing at our ass. America's a joke right now. If we're a joke to them,
I don't know if I agree that he's doing. You say he's doing nothing to benefit America. I don't. Who are you talking to in the comments? Uh-oh. I don't agree that Trump is doing nothing to benefit America. He's not keeping his promises. Before I explain, I want to read a comment coming from Pick and Green. Says it's an important question. When Trump kicks the bucket and the entire world throws the biggest party known to man, y'all MAGA going to call it TDS. Yeah, they're going to call it Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, they are going to. They're going to have a problem with it. They're going to have a problem with it.
We read that comment already before.
But yeah,
Mike was on, but somebody else repeated the same thing.
It must have been. But yeah, they're going to have a problem with it. But it is what it is. I mean, Trump has celebrated the deaths of at least 2 or 3 people we know already now. So I mean, he kind of has it coming to him.
Who was it that recently just died? He was like, "Oh, he should have been dead." Like, listen, don't give out some shit you can't take back. He's the most thin-skinned person to ever run office.
Well, he did it with Robert Mueller and that guy who played Meathead on All in the Family.
Yep, and what did he say about McCain?
I don't know if he was still criticizing him, but he wasn't celebrating his death, though. I don't think.
In so many words, it's the same shit. He ain't had nothing nice to say about him.
No, he didn't have nothing nice to say about him.
You ain't supposed to talk bad about the dead, but again, why do all the rules go out the window for him, but everybody else y'all want to criticize? And that was really my question for MAGA. What makes him better, exempt from consequence?
I don't know, because I would like to know how to get that special power. Because yeah, you're right. He could say negative. Like I was in Straight Talks Live. You heard Mike talking about that, and Mike was saying.
I'm mad I missed that one. I'm mad I missed that one.
Yeah, because I was on him, but Straight Talk was saying how wrong it is to say negative things about the president. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, like, he posted pictures of Obama as monkeys just a few weeks ago. Like, like, this man been calling one president.
He's always doing childish shit, and then they keep saying, "Oh no, they're taking it out of context." Oh, but what about? And then the whataboutism start. No, listen, you set your own precedent when it comes to people respecting you. Even with, like you saying, Stevie D with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk he was making friends, but not the right ones. Because his own people took him out. So you set your own precedent when it comes to people respecting you.
His own people? Wait. You say his own people took him out?
His own people took him out. And that's going to be it because I don't want your show shadow banned. But yeah, his own people took him the fuck out. That's why you think you don't hear nothing about the trial, nothing going on with the men they have locked up for that.
No, he's going through trial right now. They're talking about it.
How much with the biggest murder on TV, on live TV that you see, you don't hear nothing about it.
I mean, it ain't a lot he can do. I mean, that's going to be over with pretty quick. They got text messages from him. I mean, he's on video. They got the firearm. They got rounds. There's nothing.
What? He's on video with what?
Isn't he on? Well, they got an alleged guy on a roof. They got an alleged guy jumping off and walking with a limp that had a rifle in his pocket. They got an alleged text message from him.
They ain't got no rifle. They didn't have none of that shit. Still.
So you don't think Tyler Robinson did it?
No. And they know he didn't.
Tyler Robinson's going to jail though. I don't know who did it then.
You have people in place that can cover up anything and make shit go away or make shit appear. Of course he's going to be the fall guy. Of course he's going to be the fall guy because, we still need to see those tears that Drewski was putting out.
Well,
organic. You want organic tears. Like, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here with all that.
Well, if Tyler Robinson didn't do it, he's still going to pay the punishment. They definitely about to lock him up.
That's the sad part. That's the sad part because it's a lot of that happens here. That's what this country is all about. Not the right people not being held accountable for shit they do. Like the one that's actually running the country right now. He's not exempt. Him too.
What do you think happens? Do you think for some of the things you're saying he's done, do you think Trump will ever face any kind of accountability? You think he'll ever do days in jail or even be impeached?
But Canola is still rolling. That's why he has to enrich himself so much now because he know once his day come and they walk his ass up off 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, that there's going to be enforcement waiting on him. He knows that. So he got to pay the right people. He got to make sure whoever he puts in place is going to make sure he is not going to be in prison anyway, because he definitely deserves to be in prison. Just for how he's treating the American people right now, he deserves to be in prison. But he's going to make sure all of his people are in place so that doesn't happen. Look, thanks to Elon hooking that shit up for him, he knew what he was doing.
Can he not give himself a pardon of sorts to prevent any of that stuff you're talking about?
I'm not sure if I don't think he's allowed. When I was reading, it said that typically a president doesn't pardon themselves. They still would have to have.
Typically, a president don't do 1,000 things he's done.
You see what I said? Typically.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't follow the law. He doesn't follow the law. He doesn't even follow his advisors. That's why C-19 got so out of control, because he never follows the authorities or the professionals or something. Why do you think that now you go to the Department of Education, more and more people are being declassified as professionals? Nurse practitioners, nurses, doctors, physician assistants, teachers, all of that stuff they're saying they are not professional. How dare you? How fucking dare you, after people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for education, to have these careers, and for you to get in there with your dumb, lying, treasonous ass to get in there and claim that these people are not professional. He's not professional. He's morally bankrupt. He's a liar. He's a crook. He's an opportunist and a thief.
He's our president. But he's our president. I got to move it on, Miss Mo.
All of that shit, capital letters too.
But he is our president. You would agree with that, right?
He's your president. You can have him. I don't want his ass. Matter of fact, I believe we should start a class action lawsuit against the IRS for this bullshit that's happening here.
I don't know how that'll turn out, but Miss Mobetta, thank you very much. And I still do not understand how he could sue his own IRS. What he settled for, that leak of his taxes being released, that happened under his watch. As Mike mentioned earlier, if any of this shit happens under Biden or Obama, the same folks that are celebrating it under Trump would be fucking ballistic. How the hell can your IRS leak your information and you can sue your IRS and get a payment out of it? That's supposed to be a fuck up on your part. Let's be clear. If Biden was in charge and that same IRS leak happened under Biden's watch, Trump would be blaming Biden for that leak, or Obama, or whoever the president was. He would be blaming them for the IRS, their IRS leaking information on him. But somehow he's in charge of the IRS and he's able to get away with it. I mean, what's next? Your military can fuck up and you don't get blamed for that either? I don't understand that. That is crazy that his IRS leaked information on him and he can settle and get over $1 billion, almost $2 billion. I'll tell you something. And I think Mike mentioned this earlier in terms of collusion. Let's say, for instance, you got a very friendly Department of Justice or FBI or you name it. And you go to the director of the FBI that's in your pocket, or the director of the DOJ that's in your pocket, and tell them, I want you to open up a bullshit investigation on me so that I can sue for you fucking with my civil liberties and get paid. You can actually work with them. Open up a bullshit case on me. Don't worry if something go wrong, I'll pardon you for it. If they find out about it, I'll pardon you for what you're doing. I'll take the fall for you. But open up a bullshit investigation. Say you found some corruption on me or something like that. Go on TV and do a big story about it. You can even, I'll leave the door unlocked. You can even come in and do a warrant or whatever the hell may be. Make it look good, knock some shit over. And then, of course, it's going to go nowhere. And then I can sue and get paid. I mean, it just literally opens the door up. If we allow him to do that with his own IRS, it opens up the door to stuff like that. Not corrupt at all, huh? Jesus. I mean, we got to have a good, what about Biden or what about Obama or something out there to counter this stuff, because this looks terrible. There's got to be a way to deflect to Biden or Obama for this stuff, because this looks horrible. How corrupt this looks. I don't think there's any defense with it other than to just deflect to somebody else. It would be a big difference if, like I said, if it happened under Biden or Obama, the IRS did that. It happened under you. This is the same thing in regards to the alleged election fraud. It happened under you. You won when Obama was president and got elected for the first time in 2016. You won when Obama was president. You got reelected in 2024 under Biden's watch. The fraud happened when you were in office. The fraud, you're claiming the election got stolen when you were in control of the country. He's cashing in on what he should be being attributed for is incompetence. He's cashing in on fuck-ups that's happening under his watch. I don't understand how that's working. The free and fair elections are happening under your adversaries, and the fraudulent one is happening under you. And you're blaming your adversaries. Make that make sense. Did she say MAGA doesn't hold people accountable for things they do? Then she said Tyler didn't do it. You can't make this shit up. You guys also don't think before you speak. Well, she's saying MAGA don't hold their people. I get what you said. So what you're saying is MAGA took out, in her opinion, Charlie Kirk I don't know, because if she says MAGA don't hold their people accountable, and she's saying Tyler Robinson did not take out Charlie Kirk, then that means she believes a MAGA took out Charlie Kirk, and that person is not being held accountable. I mean, I think you should think before you criticize her on this, Ed G. You're trying to criticize her, I get it, but if you really look at what you're saying, she said MAGA does not hold their people accountable. And she's indicating that the person that took out Charlie Kirk was working for MAGA. That person is not going to be held accountable. She's not saying Tyler Robinson did it. She's saying Robinson is being framed. That's what she said. I'm not totally agreeing with it. I don't know. I'm not to the point where I believe it was a hit on Kirk like that. But that's what she's saying. She's saying whoever took out Kirk is getting away with it. So you're trying to criticize her, but I don't think you understood what she was saying. Looking in the comments, we'll go continue on the program. Oh my God, Republicans winning against each other. Well, you're right about Republicans winning against each other, because I'm going to tell you something. Celebrating those Republican politicians that Trump primaried, like Thomas Massey, and threatening to go at the Bobart and stuff like that, as I mentioned a few moments ago, that could really hurt him. Them folks still are in Congress for another 7 months. And you don't treated them like shit and cost them their jobs and said all kinds of horrible shit about them. They have no reason to side with Trump for the remainder of their political career. And there's only a few of them needed to vote with the Democrats. Just a few of them. I'll tell you one thing, this probably guarantees the Save America Act is never going to happen. You only need a few of them. You only need a few of them. So why you would do that to your own people in the primary when they still have enough power to do things back to you doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What you played yesterday from Kirk, I was surprised about Iran and never heard that after he passed. You're talking about Charlie Kirk saying it would be a bad idea to attack Iran. I don't know. Even though you never heard Charlie Kirk say that before, keep in mind the entire MAGA party was celebrating no new wars under Trump. So even though you had never heard Charlie Kirk say it would be wrong to attack Iran, the whole party was kind of saying it. The whole party was kind of saying under liberals you get new wars and shit, and we like Trump because he doesn't give us new wars. I strongly believe that if Charlie Kirk was still around, him and Trump would be at odds with each other. He would be just like Megyn Kelly, Alex Jones, Candace Owens, because Candace Owens was a good friend. They would all be on the other side of him. I believe Charlie Kirk would be on the other side of Trump now as well. I mean, because he's just really governed in such a stark difference to how he campaigned. I don't think I think he would not be liking Charlie Kirk anymore either. Looking at Iran is so far away. Yeah, the Iran thing to me don't make any sense. I'm sure there's more to that story. Looking in the comments, tap the screen, get the likes up to 90,000 if you will. Help people out. That should be kind of nice every now and then. It's a little bit slow here tonight. Maybe it's a boring program. I get it. Tap the screen. You're British. You just told yourself to shut up, huh? Do your own research. You know, it's crazy. I seen in the comments, somebody said, do your own research. I don't know if he's talking to me or not. But here's the crazy thing. Teddy Owens says, do your own research. If I do my own research, let's say Marty Marr, appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, at least. Appreciate that. I'll say this real quick, because a lot of folks on the right, when they're debating with the left, they go, well, do your own research, do your homework. If that person does their research and comes back to you with something they found on CNN or MSNBC, you're not going to believe it. So it ain't just do your own research. Do your own research, but get it from places that I trust. The do your own research argument doesn't work. Because half of the places that I'm going to do research is you're going to say, well, that ain't a trustworthy source. So I don't know why people keep saying do your own research. If you lived in America, you'd be homeless. You'd be homeless waffle. You wouldn't get your, British welfare. Yikes. Trump is cutthroat and has betrayed every single person who has ever helped him. I don't know if he has betrayed everybody that's helped him, but I do believe it doesn't take a lot for him to throw you under the bus. I don't think he's betrayed everybody that's helped him. I think that he's kind of he's a what have you done for me lately kind of guy. As long as you're continuing to be on his side, he'll look out for you. But if you disagree with him or push back just once, all the shit you've done to him up to that point will be irrelevant. That one time is enough for him to say, you're just as good as any liberal I don't give a shit about. He pretty much demands 100% loyalty. Kind of used to be, remember that old song from the 80s, 99 and a half won't do? Gotta have all of your love. He's kind of like that. 99 and a half will not do with him. It's got to be 100% loyalty. Otherwise, it just ain't gonna work. Too bad quality of life in Canada is way better than America. Oh no, my country is full of happy and healthy people. What an insult. Is the quality of life in Canada way better than America? I think there's pros and cons on it. I don't think the quality of life in Canada is bad, but I won't say it's way better than America. Depends on where you live in America. Depends on what your income is in America. Same thing in Canada. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. Like they do have a lot of social programs that we don't have. But if you got a potential of being really, really wealthy, you want to live somewhere where it's warm and it's not. I mean, there's differences. There's differences. There's pros and cons is what I'm trying to say. Canadians drive cars with square wheels. I've seen it on South Park. Tap the screen. Get us on up to 90,000. I'll take the next caller. Did Mike say he would match the goal if you got halfway? Yeah, I don't think I see much come in. Are we even close to that? I haven't seen a lot of love tonight. So, Marty, thank you. Appreciate it. Netherlands is ranked first for quality of life, has Happy as Kids. USA ranked 32nd. Thank you, Marty. Yeah, appreciate that love, Marty Mar. When I moved overseas, that's what I used to help make that decision. I looked up quality of life index. And oddly enough, what you mentioned in Canada, I had narrowed it down to 3 places. Oslo, Norway, Vancouver, Canada, or Brisbane, Australia. And I ended up going with Australia. And that's exactly what you said, talking about quality of life and things like that. They all ranked higher than America. And Norway, which has a really high quality of life, there's a language barrier. I can speak English, so that took them out. In Australia's tropical versus Vancouver, a lot of rain and stuff like that in the Pacific Northwest. So there you go. But you're right. The quality of the happiness index, quality of life index in America is not that great. Leslie, thank you very much for the hat and mustache. Appreciate that. Let me go back to the box. We'll make it happen with Bad Chad Hunter. Good evening, Bad Chad. What's the racism looking like? Because they act like none. What are you saying there, Shanti? What's the racism looking like? Where? Where are you talking about? My last guest came up and went, so we'll continue on with Stick the Ruler. Imagine asking for a pew tax, going to rob someone, war, then coming back to show me and leave with my pew in hole. Why I don't get what you're saying there. Hold on a second. Hang on a second, Stick. I'm reading the super chat. It says, imagine asking for my, I suppose, gun tax, going to rob someone, war, then coming back to show me and leave with my gun. And I don't understand the wording of that, Joseph. Stick, good evening. Stick, are you there? Apparently Stick the Ruler is not there. We'll move it on. We'll go to Kim Madison, a.k.a. Sexy Red. Let's see if we can make it happen over on Instagram. I don't know what you said, racism. What are you talking about, Ed? I apologize, Tim. Tapping. Okay.
Oh, shit. Guess what? I just got out of the shower. Well, you can't see me today. I'll be butt naked. But guess what? They did rat me out, Timmy Tip.
I told you need to stay over here. I told you that.
I know, I do. I stay over here for a little while. I said black and brown excellence, and they got me.
Wait a minute. Somebody reported you. It wasn't TikTok, was it?
No, it wasn't TikTok. It said somebody reported me.
For saying black and brown excellence?
Yes. I got the screenshot. For saying black and brown excellence.
Well, I told you, you got to include the white people too.
I don't got for a goddamn thing to crack her ass.
There is a lot of white. Wait, hold on. What about all the white excellence in America?
The what?
White excellence.
What white excellence? Those fucking savages.
The whole race?
The whole thing. Okay, Google them. And what comes up is the savages. They no good for nothing and they're welfare free. And what?
You sound racist saying that. You do realize there's a lot of black savages in this country too, right?
Actually, we're not as bad as they are.
You come across like you hate white people.
I hate the maggots. Yes, I do.
What has MAGA done to you?
What has MAGA done to me? Well, one thing they did, they voted for us to have hatred. They voted for us to have what, Timmy, Tim, all of our shit taken. What else, Tim? They voted for us, but now it's time that we don't even have a say in the voting. What? Our vote don't really matter? That's what they say, but our vote, it does matter. That's why they don't like us. You feel what I'm saying? They never did like us. This election was all about racism. Let's keep it a buck. It was about racism. It wasn't about all the economy and all the gas was high. No, it was about racism.
I don't know.
Crackers don't like us.
I think the election was about the economy. It was about the Epstein list. It was about no new war. Hold on.
It's a real big higher now than it was under Biden. Why is the gas higher now than under Biden?
I believe the election was about the economy. It was about no new wars. It was about getting to the bottom of the Epstein list. They just changed their position.
No. It was about racism. Black and brown people get the fuck out of the country. Make it fucking right again. Yes, it was about racism. It was never about all the economy. Because why are they not bitching now when the gas is going to the roof? We're gonna have like $8 gas at the end of this fucking rate. And then why is the ground beef higher now than it ever was under Biden? We had lower. I think it was 2.4 to 2.5%. He got it down to. Now it's over 3%.
But you do understand Trump is saying that not only was Iran a threat to America, but you're only dealing with short-term pain. It's going to get better and soon and much better.
Oh, it's all been short-term pain for who? For him? He's making all his money. He's robbing everybody.
He's doing a.
Taking our money from the IRS. We can't even. They can't audit him. Are you fucking serious? You don't think that's nuts? Come on now, Tim. Get the cock out your mouth. On God. Let it quit tickling your tonsils. You know what I'm
Okay, all right, wait, hold on. I'll agree. Trump. I will agree. Trump is making a few pennies here or there. He's making a little bit of money. A little bit.
Shut your ugly ass up.
Come on.
I mean, it's just dripping. Yeah, good protein. It's just dripping out your fucking mouth. Yes, massa. Yes, massa. Don't look at me like that. You know I'm telling the truth, you fucking ass. I can't stand you so damn tight. You are the Tim. I promise you on God. You need to stop the fluffing. You really do. Because hey, I hate this shit for nobody. You know how fucked up this shit is, Tim? The phone came out, right? The little phone. Doesn't he have all the stripes, Tim? Only has 11. And it's made in China.
Tyler Murphy says this girl got problems. So
One of your white problems is we got white people in this damn country. That's our biggest damn problem. So turn us back to Jim Crow and shit because you motherfuckers don't like black and brown people.
I don't know. You think?
Let me tell you all about racism.
Let me say this.
The food prices, they're not bitching about nothing. They're bitching about what? They don't want our votes down.
But let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this. All MAGA is not about racism. For instance, Gen X is Gen X right now, Gen X is right here watching. Gen X ain't racist.
He's a Proud Boy, you stupid fuck. That's a racist. What are you talking about?
I'm under the
That fuck is racist as hell. He's a I'm a certified Proud Boy.
You do realize Gen X said there are Proud Boys that are black.
Hey, you don't think they can be? Shit, they house ninjas. What are you talking about? They think they go to that white man's table and what, eat at his table. No, they want those PPE checks. Remember when he was running? Oh, I want to give you guys fucking money. I want to do this. I want to do that. Yeah, he sucked it to the 20% that voted for him. Oh, he's gonna give you money. Where the fuck's the money at now, you stupid ninjas? Where's it at now? Huh? I'm waiting. Oh, yeah, the TAF money. Where's it at?
What?
The Dole's money. The $5,000 check. Where's it at? He bought your fucking votes. And you sorry, fucking pathetic, no good, bad Negroes, you fucking fell for the white man. Yeah, yes, massa. Yes, massa. Get the white cock out your mouth. Yes, massa.
Well, he is only a year and something in his term. I mean, is there?
Our allies don't want nothing to do with us. We're in a fucking war. Our gas, my gas is over $7 a gallon. What else, Chip? What else? Our food is going through the fucking roof. Ground beef costs more now than fucking there's the national minimum wage.
It costs a few bucks more. I get it.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I know that white cock's in your mouth. I know you like the vanilla, the uncooked mayonnaise. I know you like it, Jim. Get it out your mouth, Jim. Remember, you're a black man. You gonna be a pill boy, door boy now?
What?
You all like that? Huh?
What do you mean? Of course I know I'm a black man. What do you think I am, Michael McDonald? I keep forgetting. I'm not a black guy anymore. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, you forget.
Oh, shit.
I got your black card. I'm snatching it again.
It's irrevocable. In the comments, TikTok lawyer says, I don't understand you, Tim. What don't you understand, TikTok lawyer? I don't, look, let me tell you something. I do know I'm a black man, all right? I do know that. Was I pushing back? Was I pushing back? Was I pushing back in that live? Thank you. There you go. We're getting somewhere now. Just a little bit. And I see in the comments, even Arnita Searle says, yes, you did this time. Thank you. Give your boy credit for a little bit of pushback. All right. So,
I'm not giving you 100% because you didn't push back on his racist ass all the time. You say, yes, massa, yes, massa. You don't be pushing back all the time, but I'll give you a little bit, prop.
Well, I'll take the little credit I get. Let me know what to send the MAGA hat to. I feel better.
You see that there? No, you see how you promote the maggots when they don't give two fucks about us, Tim? They don't. They're taking our votes and shit, Tim. They're taking us back to past the Jim Crow. This shit is legit real, Tim. It ain't nothing to joke about. And they say, oh no, it's not about race. It's about who's all down there. Tennessee, for God's sake. Nashville is black. So why are they divided up, Tim? Because you know why?
What do you suggest? You want the college players to not play ball in Southern schools? Because they are suggesting that. You said what?
What does that got to do with anything I said about voting rights?
I'm about to tell you. You haven't. Wait a minute. You haven't heard this push that African American athletes should not play for those schools down there and make them that kind of money?
We should boycott. We should take our black money and fuck them all. Because you know what? And the blue states should hold back their fucking money. See, because if it wasn't for the blue states, none of those bitches would have food on their damn table. Because they're
Can you see anything else? Let me ask you. By the way, folks, you guys who are watching on TikTok, smash that like button, get us over 100,000. And for you folks on YouTube, I need you to smash that like button. I haven't asked you tonight, but smash that like button, helps out the algorithm. Do you see anything in MAGA, Sexy Red, other than racism? Can you see anything, any good in it at all?
Hell no. It's all racism. This whole election was about racism. It was never, he told us that the elected don't never change his strategy. They just get evil. You know what I mean? He was a snake. The first time he ran, he was like he was. We all kind of warned him. We told him about Party 2025. They didn't give a damn. It was about racism. Why did they say make America great again? Who was that from? Germany. The Nazis. They just changed it to America. This is all about Germany. The Smittler and shit. This was never about the gas prices. Never about the food price. Never, Jim. This is really about black and brown folks.
You got to get him in time. He's only been in office for a year or so.
Right, but what, Jim? He's making everything. What naming one policy has done for any of us? He's taking welfare from the poor to the poor. He's stripped out benefits for the 22 million people on ACA. Okay? He's buying over 300,000 black women. What the fuck do you want?
I mean, he could stop. He's stopping Iran from becoming a nuclear nation.
Oh, you. How good is that uncooked protein in your mouth?
He's stopping biological males from playing women's sports.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
The border secure. The
That's not true. Because I have little girls that play in soccer that's the man dominated. Play football that's man dominated. What the fuck? The females that are on football teams that are kickers and stuff. See, did you see how stupid you motherfuckers sound like? Oh my god, it was a trans woman. Oh my god, they're in the bathrooms. Oh my god. But yet you have a pedo in office. You have 36 people, white men, wanting to fuck your little girls at Oklahoma, get them knocked up and marry their asses. Then you have a lot of states in the South that want to fuck your little girls and put them in the ages to 16 to 14. That's what you motherfuckers want. Let's keep it a buck.
The border is secure. What about the border?
What about the border?
The border's secure. I think you just.
It's still open. There's nothing that's going to change. There's no bills. Biden tried to do it twice. Tried to pass 2 bills. What did that motherfucker crack it up say? Oh, don't do. I'm got nothing to run on. I don't got nothing to run on. Get the fuck out of here.
I'll just say this: his time in office is not done. So.
Our real Christian has to hear our prayers and say, you know what, take 2 big Macs, take his ass out. Maybe the bruise he goes over his body. Maybe he'll fall asleep in a fucking damn on live TV and he just falls the fuck out and never wakes up. Yeah, let's pray for that. Hallelujah, because he's the Antichrist. Because all of what he's fucking doing, he has a gold statue on his property. He's trying to make, I'm telling you, Tim, he is the anti-fucking-Christ. Do you expect us to like that shit, Tim? For real? No one listened to black women when we said that he was the anti-Christ. That Project 2025 was real. Nobody believed it. And all the
Some of that is I got some of that's crazy. I gotta move it on. I don't know about this anti-Christ shit. I gotta move it on though. Appreciate it, Sexy Red. Thank you. And looking in the comments, the true definition of TDS says Bama landscaper. Look, I'm gonna tell you something though. To me, you folks on the right, you always brag about liberal tears and snowflakes and making the liberals cry. I don't know why. Every time somebody has TDS, in your opinion, you should celebrate it. Because if your goal is to make the liberals cry, then TDS is what comes from that. So when you see somebody with TDS, you should celebrate that as a success. I would think that's what you're trying to get, isn't it? When he's dropping shit on protesters via tweet or posting Obama's as monkeys and things like that, that's what creates TDS. So you should be celebrating TDS. Quit complaining about it. Quit complaining about it. You should view it as a victory. Looking in the comments, no, they want liberals to praise Trump. Why the hell would the liberals praise Trump when he's actually saying, I hate Democrats? I mean, that's a quote from Trump. Is that the best you can say about Trump? The border is secure. That's all it takes to praise him. Your bar is low for him. Look, I do politically lean left, not way left, which is why during Trump's first term, I was giving him credit for certain things. During Trump's second term, Trump 2.0, he's moved much, much further to the right. So that's why I do have a lot of my MAGA viewers. Like, I can't even stomach you no more. You know, you were watchable at first, but now I just can't stomach you. And, you know, you've moved too far to the left. And I said, no, I didn't move any damn where. He moved away from me. I mean, I was a little bit left of center, but I could see things that were sensible, made sense on the right. And I could give him credit when he deserved credit on the right. But he's went so far to the right now that, yeah, I seem like the far left. But it ain't because I moved, it's because he moved. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it would be just like if you had Bush and compared him to Clinton. Both of them were somewhat off center. You know, Bill Clinton compared to AOC or Bernie Sanders, he was nowhere near as far left as they are. And that's the same thing Trump 2.0 is. Trump 2.0, he's nowhere near, he's way further to the right than George W. Bush, Mitt Romney, or John McCain. He's much further right of that. So yeah, if I'm center left, I'm gonna seem like, you know, a fucking progressive, a deep blue progressive at this point. But it ain't because I moved, it's because he did. He moved further away. Looking in the comments, why are you egging on Weezy? I wasn't egging her on. I'm not watching old documents. I'm from North Carolina, and I know of Klan members that are in police departments. I can't speak on that. I'm obviously not in North Carolina. Raise up, take your shirt off, twist it in the air, spin it like a helicopter. But I'll say this. When you say that you know of Klan members in the police departments, like I said, I can't speak of it because I'm not out there, but we've always had white supremacists working in police departments. It was literally founded by them to catch slaves. So that's something that probably will never go away. That'll probably never go away. There'll always be folks in the police department that have a really low opinion of black people. The only hope is you don't put them in departments where they're governing black people. But there's always going to be people that, you know, live out in an area where there's nobody, you know, you grew up in an area where it was all white or there was no blacks at least. And you heard the racial stereotypes or you seen on TV nothing but pictures of people committing crimes that were black. And then you became an adult and joined the police force. And all of your mindset of these people is bad. It's just a hope that you don't put that person in a district where they're governed. To me, they should give you an aptitude test and something like that. I know they do give you some kind of aptitude test when you join the police department. I don't know if it checks for stuff like that. But it should. It should. Because if you do have preconceived notions of a race, you shouldn't be on the department. I mean, if you're already biased before you join the department, you shouldn't be there. I don't know if they do that or not. I'd have to talk to somebody in law enforcement. I see something forever says they don't. They should do that, though. And there are ways a savvy psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever you want to call it, somebody who's savvy enough would be able to ask certain questions and hit certain trigger points that if that is in that person, you could bring it out of them. You could just sit down and have a conversation and let them sit on the couch and talk to them for 20, 30 minutes, ask them a few questions. If that's in them, you can bring it out. You can bring it out of them. And of course, like I said, that person should not be on the police force. I'll tell you before I go back to the box and tap the screen, get us up to 110. The solution to this shit is simple. We're not really talking about police misconduct right now, but I'll just tell you the solution to this shit is really simple, how to reduce police misconduct in this country. Just like everything else, when you throw money into it, solutions come out of the woodwork. As a condition of being a law enforcement officer, you must personally purchase malpractice, or whatever you want to call it. You must personally purchase insurance. If you're not insured, you cannot be a member of the law enforcement community, because the insurance companies do not like paying out claims. If you're fucking up, they're going to be all over that, and they're not going to let you continue being a client. And once it just like let's say you're a truck driver, you got a CDL, or you're a nurse or a doctor, and you got malpractice insurance. You can't leave one hospital after you fucked up and go to another city and work at another one. Your bad actions are going to follow you. They know when you get there and make that up, when you apply it to the next hospital, they know you fucked up on the surgery at the last one. They're not going to hire you. You're a liability. They're not going to hire you. If all members of law enforcement had to have insurance, insurance companies do not like to pay out claims, so they're going to make sure that they keep a close eye on officers. Even if you're getting a bunch of claims against you, that you're being abusive or you're being rough on folks, and the claims go nowhere, the insurance company's still going to pay attention to that, because they're going to know maybe the FOP or maybe the Internal Affairs Bureau is just siding with this guy because he's one of them. They're going to be doing their own investigations, because if this guy fucks up, we got to pay it out. Like Derek Chauvin, for instance, the guy who is serving time for George Floyd. He had like 20-something claims. An insurance company is not going to be insuring that dude. Like, they go on statistical probability. The statistical probability is high that this dude is going to end up costing us a bunch of money, and they're going to refuse to insure him. And as I stated, you have to be insured as a condition to wear a badge. That's it. You're going to start getting rid of those folks. They're not going to be able to stay on the force. That's all you got to do, is put money involved in it. Right now, if a person fucks up, the city taxpayers pay for it. And that person can often resign and go work somewhere else. And what he did at the old department doesn't even follow him. Just put the insurance companies in there. The insurance companies, by the way, because I know a lot of folks on the right do not believe global warming is a real thing. The insurance companies, the ones who have to actually insure people that are dealing with natural disasters, they're making it clear they believe in global warming. They're making it clear. They can see the floods and hurricanes and all that shit rising because they're paying the claims. Just follow them. Follow people who actually care about the money. You can get a lot of shit done when money starts being involved. You can get a lot of shit done. For the police departments and law enforcement in this country right now, there's nobody worried about losing money. Once people start having to be worried about losing money, they would fix that real quick. Everyone in the comments says the whole campaign was about dangerous immigrants, but gas is $5.20 a gallon here in Wheeling, Illinois. So how are immigrants responsible for this clown show now? Well, the problem is that they believe Trump has convinced them that Iran was such a danger to America that they're willing to suffer through the $5.20 a gallon gas you're talking about. I mean, you got folks who if they would have had, because Trump said they would have had a nuclear bomb by now and they would have used it on us. How much is too high a price to pay if your safety is in that much danger? If I believe what he said was true, shit, I don't care if gas goes up to $15 a gallon. Fix that problem. Now, I don't believe Iran was going to do that like he said, but a lot of MAGA does believe that. So they're willing to overlook the high cost of gas because they believe he's dealing with a verifiable threat. So that's where that's coming from. Love the cruise. Nobody cares about it, but people like you, because Canadians know. You guys are still going with the Canadian thing. Love the cruise. Good evening.
Hey, what's up, man?
Every time I talk to you, I think about being on a nice Royal Caribbean at sea somewhere, man.
Hey, man, you and me both. I'm going on one in a couple weeks, though.
Really? Where you going?
I'm going to ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao.
Now, who do you sail with?
I like Norwegian because I like the drink package so I can drink free. And they don't run out of liquor, and I tried.
How much of the cruise do you remember?
I had to learn, it isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. You know, I used to get on there and put the pedal to the metal day one, but I space it out now.
I watch some of the channels. I don't want to get too deep because this ain't what people tune in for, but I will just say this. I watch some of the cruise channels on YouTube, and I've seen people say it ain't worth purchasing a drink package because, but unless you're drinking 8 or 9 drinks a day or more, they said it's better to pay a la carte for that.
Well, if you're going Royal Caribbean or somebody like that, but with Norwegian, they have this thing called Free at Sea Plus, and what that includes is, and it's only $350 per person, so you get unlimited top shelf.
How much is it per person?
$350.
I don't drink alcohol, so that seems like a lot of money. God damn.
Well, no, but you see, it's a total package. Top shelf liquor, beer, frozen drinks, Starbucks, and then you also get 3 specialty dining. You get your prepaid gratuities included with that. You get a free unlimited Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, fair enough. I paid $100 and for what, two or three devices. I think I paid $190 for 4 or 5 days of Wi-Fi on the cruise ship. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then you also get a short excursion credit. So you get all that for $350 more. Just the gratuities alone is worth it. Yeah,
fair enough. Fair enough. All right, well, before you end up going and traveling seas and coming back with the hunter virus, let me ask you. Get a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with a little hunter virus, baby. It's just a virus. What do you think about Trump being given almost $2 billion because his taxes got leaked?
Man, at this point, this man really, I was going to say that nothing surprised me, but actually his creativity is killing me. I don't see who is coming up with this stuff for him to take advantage of it. And the fact that our government, and I don't think they accounted for nothing like Trump, has this many loopholes in it where somebody can
No shit. It's just the founding fathers. I guess we did a lot of stuff on the honor system and just, I guess they never predicted somebody would come along and push it to this level.
No, the system, he's breaking the hell out of this system, and, when he leaves, there's so much correction that we had to do in-house.
Yeah,
that it's going to take a while to even mend all the fences and everything he took down on the outside. We got to get everything together here first before we try to tackle all our friends in foreign policies and this and that. So technically, Trump has set his back. I don't know, man. Maybe 20 or 30 years.
I heard it.
At a minimum.
They're saying he set black folks back. Do you believe that?
We set ourselves back. And I know, like, somebody like Stick the Ruler, he gonna be on me. But we set ourselves back. You have to vote. They have to have a reason to pay you some attention. If you don't vote, and I'm a politician, what the fuck do I care about what you think?
That is so true.
Putting me in office.
That is so true.
It's the ones that vote. So
but I'll tell you something. Hold on. There is black MAGA, blagga as they call them. Is Trump looking out for them? Because they did help put him in office.
Oh, no, they ain't looking out for no damn idiots. But I tell you, every time I listen to your show and I listen to MAGA Reacts and all, and even what's it, the handsome conservative, I see why Trump cut education. I see why he did it.
What are you getting at?
Man, that's some dumb motherfucker.
Oh my God. Well, I think handsome conservative, he's not MAGA anymore. Now, MAGA Reacts, yeah, but handsome conservative, he's more conservative now. He's not really MAGA anymore.
If he on, excuse me, because he is just stuck at his age. And I don't care. I mean, they may change some, but old white men are used to a certain way. And back in the day when they were young, it wasn't like it is now. but they still carry that type of temperament and that type of attitude. Even though they may change some and adapt, they're still used to and
you really think that's true in 2026?
I don't know what year it is, man. You still got when you were a young man. Because of that, that's your foundation.
I don't know.
Your foundation. I don't care. You can try to change, and you may change subtly, but you are what you are at your foundation. How you were raised. Babies ain't prejudiced at all. You can put a black and white baby right off the rip, and they will be best of friends. But how they're raised is how they end up thinking.
Well, you got a response. Handsome Conservative says, first of all, I'm not old. Second of all, I don't ever think like that. You couldn't be more wrong about. So he's saying you're judging them wrong.
Well, if he ain't old, I apologize because he sounds old as fuck.
Oh my God. Well, shit, they say I look old as fuck.
I didn't say look. I said he sounds. And all I hear him talk about is me and my brother, we were just talking. Man, get out of here with that. Your brother old and you old. Man, two old motherfuckers talking, man.
Oh my God. So we might be acquiring Cuba. What say you?
You remember when I went over to Cuba when Obama had opened it up, went on a cruise over there. And I gotta tell you, Royal Caribbean had plans to build the port up. Okay, when you go inside Cuba, I was talking to this lady. She had a restaurant. And the restaurant, all the ingredients that you need, all the supplies you have to buy from the state. Then, when you serve your restaurant up, half the profit goes to the state.
Yeah.
Now, at that time, I thought, well, yeah, they probably do want us to come in here and get the American dollar and, and improve the country. And I think at that time, if we had went in there, we would have had a better chance than we do now. Like you said, if somebody turned my power off or
right, yeah,
I got an attitude. I got extreme attitude. But back then, the American dollar was coming in there. They were talking to people, and I think we had a good shot at the end. But Trump shut that down.
Yeah.
But as far as it got to be the only reason he's taking over is because of business.
That's what I think. I think Trump wants to make Cuba some kind of real estate development project.
Marco Lauro's South.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put some golf course on there, take over all the ocean front. If you go downtown Cuba, well, not downtown, but toward the center of town, man, those buildings are good and raggedy. And just to build it up, just clean the whole island up, it could be a gold mine. And you say it's gonna be slave help. Isn't that what they do across the Caribbean all over?
Yeah,
you go to Jamaica, you go to a resort. That's all Jamaican people.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about. You can go there and tell the Cubans, Trump or somebody that supports him that speaks Spanish, convey the message that Cuba's going to be a beautiful place once we're done. You'll all have jobs. I mean, Trump is really good at selling shit like that. That's the area where I think Trump excels.
I don't know if he's going to be involved with that, but I know, it's funny you should say that and then end up in China because there's going to be some rich Chinese people over there buying that land. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of rich people. It isn't just going to be American. Those resorts and everything are going to be owned by everybody.
Well, if Trump takes it over, he's going to take it over. Then he's going to be able to control who can buy. He's going to be able to control who can buy shit over there.
Yeah. And I heard who is that, Jeremy? And Jeremy's starting to grow on me a little bit. I heard him, but I don't know what the problem is. The other day I heard Stick the Ruler, and I hear they must really think Secret Service and the Army ain't shit.
He did say that, yeah.
Yes, he said they come to my house, I got something for them. Man, these motherfuckers put bombs down the chimneys. You know, what do you have for them? Breakfast? You know?
Yeah, I've had that debate with both of them, and you're right. They do think that, you know, they could stop the army of tyranny, and like, no, it ain't gonna be that easy. In the comments, though,
just because we see things when we get it, army releases stuff, and when we find out like drones and all that, ain't no telling what they got now. You know, by the time we get it, that stuff is obsolete to them. Yeah. And you gonna sit up here and think you're gonna take on the army? Come on, man.
Yeah, Stick
thinking he could take on the CIA and Secret Service? Come on, man.
He did say that. In the comments, I want to point out something. Silix says, 3348 says, actually, Trump has donated more to black-only schools and renovated more low-income housing than any other president. Look it up and don't lie. Have you heard that?
Oh, man. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God.
Who said that?
Go ahead.
Who said that?
One of my viewers on YouTube, he says, what did he say? Trump has donated more money to black-only schools and renovated more low-income housing than any other president. Look it up and don't lie.
Man, I don't know where these MAGA motherfuckers, like I said, education, you know, if you did renovate low-income housing, guess what he did? He took it over and sold it. Mm-hmm. He didn't do it for the people there. He did it for profit. So get the fuck out of here with that. I mean, you're looking at the man doesn't even care about. That's what makes me mad. I understand rich white people and even rich black people voting for Trump because he's for them. Mm-hmm. All you broke motherfuckers on here listening to us, you ain't have no business voting for Trump because he doesn't give a fuck about you. Nobody from middle class on down had any business voting for Trump. So you're not voting for Trump.
Oh, I disagree with that. I mean, hold on.
Got what's that? Gen X, is he the one that's in Wyoming or whatever?
He's in Montana. Yeah, Montana. Yeah, nearby Montana.
That motherfucker can barely breathe, and he gonna vote for Trump, and Trump about to take Medicaid away. What the fuck, Tim?
Oh my God. Okay. I ain't gonna touch that. I'm not gonna touch that. Look, there are reasons to vote for Trump. Let me spin this shit. Hold on. People favor him. He's pro-life. That's a reason. He's pro-Second Amendment more than the liberals are. That's a reason. He don't want boys and girls sports. He's more in favor of securing the border. There are reasons for a poor person to vote for Trump over the liberals.
No, you're a damn lie, Tim. As far as the immigration, okay, he may have tightened up. I don't know. That's what he tells me. I don't know. That's what he tells me, though. So, okay, maybe that's one lie I might fall for.
Okay.
Okay, what, transgender? Oh, yeah, the one person that did that, okay, we're going to punish them. One person.
Just one, huh? Okay. Just one.
That's all. It was just one. It was just one person, Tim. Oh, what else you say?
The border.
Oh, I said the border. Okay, I might give him that. That's what he's telling me. All
right. Pro-life.
Oh, man, come on, man.
Yes.
You know what? That's a touchy subject.
Religion in schools. Religion in schools is some people's favorite. I mean, that's another one. He's more promoting than the left would.
He ain't promoting no damn schools. He wants these motherfuckers to stay stupid. He told them I want uneducated people.
But that's one way to do it, Love the Cruise, is once you force people to
get rid of the motherfuckers. He against schools.
No, what I'm saying is religion is a really good way to control the masses because they will automatically, the minute you start saying God wants you to do this, people stop asking questions. So you can that's a benefit to put that in schools. If you want to control people, have them believing that God is telling them to do this stuff. People don't question that.
You're right. Religion is being used to take over countries for the longest.
Yeah.
It just ain't here. It's been used since the beginning of mankind. But I would like to think in 2026 we have enough damn sense to figure out between honest religion and people actually mocking the Bible.
We don't.
You know?
We don't. Anytime you got sitting senators like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz talking about we're ordained to protect Israel, you don't have people that are different. I mean, people, they believe what they want to believe, man.
You're right. It's a shame because we're questioning God. And on the same token of questioning God, am I a perfect Christian? Oh, no, far from it. But I'm knowledgeable and I tried real hard, Tim. I tried to do the right thing. But these motherfuckers, boy, they won't let you do the right thing. They do some stupid stuff, really. And it ain't for me to judge, but it affects me. You know, like all these motherfuckers voting for Trump. Now, what they got, the FAFO? Yeah, okay. But guess who else finds out? I do.
Mm. Well, listen, the man still has 2+ years left. He's promised that it's just short-term pain. Things are going to get better. So you got to ride it out.
Do you believe that?
It don't look like that's going to be accurate.
The man ain't got nothing to lose.
That is true.
He's not going to get elected again. He's going for broke, man.
Yeah.
The man is going for everything I can get. I'm doing it. I'm getting all the money, everything I can possibly get. And I don't care how I leave the United States. I just took over all these motherfucking countries. I'll jet over to there, and I'll live the rest of my life over there.
Jeez. Hopefully it ain't that much of a heist. I got to move it on, Love the Cruise. I hope you're wrong. That's frightening. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tim.
Anytime. Enjoy that cruise, man.
All right. It got a couple weeks.
Fair enough. Thank you. Tap the screen. By the way, if you enjoy uncensored dialogue from outside to the owl, I'll ask this time if you're watching us on Instagram, TikTok, Substack, or Clapper, follow the program. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a sub. We're here most weekdays. Looking in the comments here. Somebody said hard-cooked mayonnaise, says CBOG Kush. I don't know what that was in reference to, but hard-cooked mayonnaise. 10 acres and a mule will never come, so give it up. That is true, Gangsta Conservative. I don't think they ever intended on doing it back then. But you're certainly not going to get it now. Trump might have 2 years, but he's going to alienate everybody, and the MAGA people are going to fall. It ain't looking great. I'll agree with that. It's, you can't just keep running on division. I don't think the excessive division from President Trump is helping. So I do agree with some of that. Obama deported more illegals than any other president. Trump has just made immigration dramatic. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But when Obama was deporting people, it was at the border. He wasn't going in U.S. cities doing smash and grabs. So, yeah, you're right. He absolutely made it more dramatic. I'm not answering your question. He's made it more dramatic. Not only did he make it more dramatic from how he's doing it, but then the boasting and bragging, the celebration of bringing misery to other people. You go on any video where ICE is roughing somebody up or dragging them out of a car, and all of the MAGA folks, this is what I voted for, yay, 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 like it's a gladiator sport. So I've been saying this constantly. I think Trump could have been a lot more successful if he did the exact same shit he's done now without all of the fanfare, all of the bragging and boasting and tweets and stuff like that just literally creates enemies. I mean, look, if you're at war with Iran to keep America safe, we can debate that. But to post pictures of people being blown up to rap music, like that's something to brag about. Once you start doing that, you kind of lose the high ground. And he's done that. I mean, like the same thing with the Venezuelan boats being blown up. That didn't need to be televised. Why are you bragging about killing people? That didn't benefit America whatsoever. because a lot of us don't even believe the boats are coming here or even carrying drugs. But why brag about that? Why are you constantly celebrating killing people? Whole civilization is going to die tonight. There's not going to be many of them left. You just seem like you're enjoying killing people. So you could do the same. Imagine if George Bush did that. You know, okay, they got weapons of mass destruction, but then you're killing folks and bragging about it. He would have faced the same backlash. And I think that's what's really hurting Trump is the constant boasting and bragging. I mean, it's just like, let's just take a sports team. Let's take a team like the Yankees or something. Winning a bunch of World Series is one thing. Just bragging and imagine every error they see in the opposition. Every other team in the American League that makes an error, they post it on their page and laugh about it. You know, he dropped the ball, it's on the Yankees website, they laughing about it. You're going to make people hate the team. You're going to make more people hate the Yankees by doing that, as opposed to just go out there and win games and win a championship. But when you're ridiculing and taunting so much, it makes people not like you. That's the Trump derangement syndrome that the right complains about. Well, you're creating it. You're planting Trump derangement seeds by doing that stuff all the time. So I know the right really likes it. They like taunting the left and all of that, but they don't like when it comes back home. It's like they think that he should be able to say all kinds of awful shit and there should be no repercussion to it. And that's not realistic. If you don't realize the Democrats and Republicans are bought by Israel, you just aren't paying attention. I don't even know if they're being bought by Israel. I actually think there's a lot of folks that do believe riding with Israel is biblically prophesied. They believe that there's an order from God. Now, the money helps. You can buy off some of the folks who don't believe the religious shit, then yeah, you give them some money as well. But I do believe some folks believe that they're doing God's work by riding with Israel. They're not separating church and state. And that's where I think some of the problem is. He says some uncalled for shit, but he's not doing anything but no other president has done before. Everything he's done is just televised nowadays. He's not. That's not. Yeah, you know, he's doing other shit that other presidents haven't done. He's doing a lot of shit that other presidents haven't done. I mean, to go in there and call the Somalis garbage. Give me something any other president has done that's comparable to calling a whole group of people garbage. Rapists and murderers. They're letting out insane asylums, eating cats and dogs. No, every other president ain't done no shit like that. He's one above and beyond. He's one above and beyond. You're trying to make it sound like he's one of many. Every other president don't do stuff like that. And that ain't got nothing to do with the media or anything. That's him saying that shit during an interview. He said cats and dogs doing a televised debate, nothing to do with the internet or the media making them leave. He said it. The cats and dogs comment. Somalis are garbage or something he said during a televised interview. You can't blame that on the media or nothing else. I mean, these are statements coming out of his own mouth. Same thing about their emptying insane asylums and jails. You notice you haven't heard of a single jail or insane asylum being mentioned? So, no, he's doing shit that's bringing misery on himself. Nobody's making him say that wild ass shit. So you say he said some uncalled for shit. Yes, he has. But the idea that he ain't done nothing that any other president hasn't done, that's bullshit. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. The left is doing the same thing. Obama's immigration policy was about the same. Everything is being televised nowadays. Like I said, give me something that equates to saying Somalis are garbage from any president. Give me a president that has called a whole group of people garbage. There's no other president has said nothing that horrible. I mean, if you want to try to downplay Trump, there was some dude in Harlem that said something similar. He was a leftist. No, he's the fucking president. A president is a hierarchy. Compare him to other presidents. Don't compare him to some dude that was part of Black Lives Matter walking down the street screaming some crazy shit. Well, that guy said it, so the president said it too. They're not in the same category. Give me something the president has said that's been like that. Call all these folks. Like I said, you guys are trying to make up stuff to soften the blow. And by the way, he was not supposed to be a typical politician. He's going to drain the swamp and improve things. Not that he's fucking up. Well, Obama did it too. Remember, on the right, Reagan was the best until Trump came, allegedly. Why are you comparing them to the guys you think that are the worst presidents? You think Biden was the worst we ever had, or you think Obama was the worst we ever had. So when Trump fucks up, you keep comparing them to those guys. You notice they're not comparing Trump to Reagan at all? Where all of the credit? Where's the hierarchy? Where's the complimentary credits you're giving them that compares to somebody that's good? If you think Biden sucked, then you shouldn't be comparing him to Biden. You should be comparing them to people that did well. Everything you're comparing them to is people you thought that were horrible, which is basically saying, yeah, he's fucking up, but he's not as bad as this guy who's at the bottom. I mean, he's not bottom level yet. I mean, that's not a compliment to Trump. That's an admission that he's doing a terrible job, that you got to compare him to the person you thought was the worst guy there. Yeah, his gas prices are high, but they haven't topped Biden's yet. You were complaining of constant misery under Biden. So if he's getting close to that, then he's doing a really bad job. Compare him to Reagan. I don't ever hear folks on the right comparing Trump to Reagan on anything. That tells you plenty. I don't think he's fucking up with immigration, and I definitely am not a Republican. I'm an independent. Also wasn't talking about Black Lives Matter. I was talking about politicians. No, I don't think he's fucking up with immigration either. But I think that, and I'm not talking to you because if you're not MAGA, I'm thinking that MAGA is celebrating Trump for accomplishments that do nothing to improve their lives. They're celebrating President Trump for accomplishments that make perceived enemies suffer. I like that he's going after the trans. You don't have any trans in your life. I like that he's going after illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants are not hindering your life at all. I like that he's gotten rid of DEI or he's gotten rid of affirmative action. You still got your job the whole time. DEI or affirmative action didn't affect you at all. You're enjoying him going after things you think that are enemies or wrong for the country, but he's not doing anything to benefit your life. He's not. In fact, the economy's gotten worse. Gas prices have gotten worse. Inflation has gotten worse. Even crime is not necessarily improving under him. So you're celebrating him for things that do not benefit your life at all. You just like to see him going after the bad guys, the people you think that are bad guys. That's not tangible for you yourself. If he serves 4 years and at the end of those 4 years, the border's secure, trans cannot play in the wrong sports or use the wrong damn bathrooms, but you're paying $6 a gallon for gas and grocery prices are off the chain, how is your life really better? I don't understand that. He's not doing things that is improving the life of MAGA. He's doing things that are giving you entertainment value. I like when he posts a picture of Obama's his monkeys. Did that really bring down the price of anything for you? You got to laugh. I get it. It makes you laugh, but you're still suffering financially. You know, you get a laugh when he's dumping shit on protesters. How much did that do for the price of a steak, though, for you? It's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. It's giving you some laughs, and we've tuned in to champion the laughs and totally ignore the fact that nothing is becoming beneficial in your life. And the only saving grace is, well, but Biden, Biden didn't do it. That's doing nothing for you. Blaming another person that you think was a bad guy. Immigrants, LGBTQ, we can say, but Biden, but Obama. When do you get to the part where you can say, my life is improving because of what he's doing? When is that going to happen? Unless you just feel happy to continue blaming other people. Maybe that is the reward. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 130,000. Thank you, folks. Nothing for America. I don't see it. And taking Cuba is not going to benefit America either. What we did in Iran is not going to benefit America. And there's definitely no benefit to Venezuela. And I don't think there's any benefit to Cuba. But it's all costing us money. All of those explosions you see with drug boats being taken out, each one of those explosions, you're probably watching $100,000 go boom. It's costing you money for something that's not going to benefit you at all. Have you seen any benefit whatsoever of us acquiring or changing the regime in Venezuela? Has that benefited you at all? Real talk. Thank you for that dinosaur. Wow. Thank you, Real Talk. Appreciate that. Carol for the head mustache. Thank you. Healthcare drugs are going down, says that's one. I'll concede that. If he can bring down the price of some prescription drugs, I will concede that is a good thing that Trump has done. That one does seem to be something that is legitimately taking place. But overall, when you listen to all of the shit he campaigned and promised, in terms of actual delivery of shit that benefits you, it's few and far between. Few and far between. But the lowering the price of drugs, I don't know, the Trump kids bank account or whatever that is, that could be positive. Years down the road, of course, but that could be beneficial. But think about all the shit he promised you. Most of that stuff, the overwhelming majority of that stuff has not happened, and it's not even close to happening. It's not even close to happening. Fuck. Real talk. Let me go ahead and take another caller since you've shown an incredible amount of love. Arsha, fine. Every year after COVID, prices began going up. No president can make that shit go away or come down. Then why fucking promise it? Then why promise it, Ro? He promised to do that. Now you're going to tell me after COVID, prices have been going up and no president can make the stuff go down, go away or go down. Then why did he campaign on it then? Why didn't he know what you're talking about? Unless you're going to admit that he just lied to us to get elected. Arsha, good evening.
Good afternoon.
Sorry. That's right. You're sick. What is it, 1 o'clock there?
It is 2:08. Yeah, about 2:18.
2:18 p.m.
So yeah, afternoon. Yeah.
I have got to go visit the islands. That sounds like a beautiful place.
It is. I'm sitting out here, icing my knee out on my back lanai. Nice cool breeze.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So my takeaway from as of today, this is my takeaway. I believe that instead of the Republican Party, or the MAGA Party and the President of the United States, they would rather cheat because they care more about winning than they do about earning.
Explain that.
Support. So, okay. What is your plan? How, if it's like, why don't, if you have to redraw new lines to ensure more, perhaps victory,
I get it. Yeah, you know something?
You're unwilling to reach out and earn
the votes.
The people's. I mean, you're not even trying to pander.
It's a good point. That's something I've said that is that you're right. If you're doing so well as president, you shouldn't need to gerrymander to get more votes. You should have earned them. You're doing this because you think you might lose.
Yeah, and regardless, you can say the Democrats go out to the black and pander to the black communities. They pander to the LB. Okay. At least they're going to those communities, listening, and perhaps offering some sort of promise, right? A campaign promise or a policy idea. The GOP currently is not even willing to come out and feed us something. I mean, it's not even, you're not even feeding us crap. You're just instead willing to, we don't really have any ideas for you people, but instead we really know how to suck, because nothing sucks more than sucking. And so we're gonna tell you what, all of these things are bad and we don't need them and they're horrible for you, but we are not even going to come to the table with a small menu of any sort of anything beneficial to us. You're going to take away things because you don't like them. but you don't have anything to replace it with, and you don't care to even make up a lie of some sort of legislation or policy. You know, that's what, you know, again, they care. Donald Trump cares more about winning than earning.
I understand.
To do it.
I understand Trump, but where I'm more lost is MAGA. Like, okay, why would you? Okay, if right now the economy is not doing well, and a lot of Trump's campaign promises have not been met, why would you be in favor of him gerrymandering to give yourself more of what you're getting? Under Biden, you didn't want more of the Biden economy. You wanted him gone. Why would you want more of the Trump economy?
Okay, listen. And then this is where I think it's more about winning. So you know, here you had, you know, GOP, whether it's like Massey or Green or some of these people that became traitors to Trump. Remember, they're not traitors to America. They're traitors to him personally. You know, they had something that they just were not willing to compromise on in their value system. And I think, you know, it is what it is. But okay, so here he supported all of these MAGA loyalists, loyal to Trump, not loyal to the party, loyal to Trump. And what is that person going to be out on the, you know, the next few months campaigning on that is going to help their new constituency that they were handed? They didn't earn that constituency. Other than being like Trump, you know, I didn't hurt Trump's feelings, you know. When it comes down to each party, whether it be the Democrat or the, you know, winning whatever seat that is, I think it's going to be a definite tell. Like if in these certain areas that it swings more MAGA seats. Because at this point, you're only going because you're a part of Trumpism, not because you're for policy.
I don't know if it's gonna work like that, Arsha. I think some of these districts that they gerrymandered and they expect to go red. I think there may be a possibility that a lot of formerly known red voters may either not vote or may actually vote blue. I mean, like I said, with the economy the way it is, I don't think the Trump administration and some MAGA realize some of these folks are not still with you anymore. They actually wanted what you campaigned on. They're not following you with the changes.
And that's what I'm saying is if in fact the appointed person, you know, wins and it does go red and all, you know, by a landslide, then that will say a lot about the Republican Party or the lack of the Republican Party. So it should be interesting because, and I do believe this is a very transparent administration because he tells us all what he's doing on national television.
Well, some of the times what he said, some of the times, hold on. Some of the stuff he tells you he's doing on national TV is actually not accurate, though.
Tim, did Donald Trump, even though it wasn't his idea, remember? It wasn't his idea. Didn't Donald Trump sue his own IRS because they leaked his taxes?
Yeah.
And now he's using his own Justice Department to now strike a deal with his own, who used to be, remember, his personal lawyer. All right. But it's not his idea. And he's going to give it to these. Listen, he is telling you how he is stealing money right in front of your face. And this is how I'm doing it. And yeah, it can't be that crazy. He says it so it's true. And you know, the interesting thing is we're out here like, oh my gosh, he said that. And we're not trying to take it out of context or anything because we just saw it. We just saw Donald Trump say, I don't ever think about American people's financial situations. The only thing I care about is Iran having a nuclear weapon. Okay. So again, saying it out loud, why is it that MAGA are the only people that have to twist it for their own sanity or moral compass to be like, he didn't really mean it like that.
You know something, you raise a good point. And by the way, folks on YouTube, smash that like button. I need you to do it. It helps the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. Of course, this is a MAGA-friendly program. But you're right, Arsha. I have never heard of anyone being... I've never heard of the phrase, you took this person out of context so much since Trump got in office. Like, he speaks from the hip. He calls it as he sees it. Then why the hell is people taking him out of context so much? People can understand what he's saying. I mean, nobody.
He is very transparent. He's transparent, but you guys can't. It's like they'd rather have faith in him than know what they know. Yeah.
I mean, the man said a whole civilization will die tonight. When you took that out of context, like, that's pretty straightforward.
But that's not the only thing. Okay. This is just so, I don't know what to say, Tim. I think these people, I mean, and let's talk about this weird rise of young Gen Z men feeling that all their problems, and this is an international problem, that all of their problems are because of women, and
where is that happening at?
Well, you know what happened in San Diego over, a couple of days ago. Those two gentlemen met online.
Yeah, but that was a Muslim. You said women.
No. But they were a part of the group that, committed the same thing in New Zealand. But they do not discriminate on who they hate more. But it's about women, Jewish people, and the replacement theory, and it's crazy. But we really, need to deprogram what is happening to our young white teen males, because
that ain't
a lot of them think that women deserve to be, raped and things like this. And I mean,
you've heard guys that say women deserve to be raped?
Tim, we have seen and heard from a lot of, emails and texts of like, fringe, groups that, yes, because they're the reason for their suffering.
Damn. I ain't never heard that. And I've heard some pretty crazy
like
shit.
It's an international thing, it's not brown people, brown gentlemen. It's not, or Asians. It is white. Yes. It's a movement. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's like it's one of those incel groups. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I've never heard that. In the comments, Tim, I know you're not just going to let them come on the panel and say whatever they want since daddy. No, I'm saying I never heard it. No, you would be to come on the panel and disagree with her. I've never heard that before.
During a press conference on the 17 and the 18-year-old, they did not know each other personally. They knew each other on this group chat through the internet. That's how they became friends. They came up with this idea. They did lives, and they wrote out. It was a 75-page thing that was. So I'm going based off a live.
Because one of my viewers says, Tim, she has no examples of any claims. If she was a man, she would be a misogynist.
I'm not saying all. Okay, You want me to find it? Do I need to find it?
No, I mean, you can send it to me.
I
gotta move it on soon, but you have to send it to me. But that's crazy.
I will send it to you personally, Tim. Again, this was live on. Okay, I'll get it to you.
All right.
No, I'm not lying about it.
I'm not accusing you of lying. I'm just simply saying I've never heard this before. That's stunning. I've never heard anything like that. That deserves to be great. Wow, that's stunning.
And one thing I'll say about the 1 point, however many $billion that miraculously appeared, why wasn't that going to help children get free lunch? Why isn't it going to help women with childcare so that they can, choose to have a baby instead of worry about the cost of having one and raising one? So many things could be done with that. And the tariffs and everything that's being used to fund our
No, I agree with you. Listen, when it comes to how Trump is spending money in asking the question, well, why wouldn't this money go to people that need it? I'm 100% in agreement with you, but I've said it's kind of like the whole Tupac thing, money for war, but can't feed the poor. The issue is they don't spend money unless it can make money. Like war is profitable. Feeding the poor is not. So
it's money laundering right in front of your face.
It's profitable. Money laundering is profitable.
He's laundering money. He is the most transparent president of chaos we have ever had. He's going to be, you always say, what is he going to be known for? Chaos.
I agree with that.
President of chaos.
That's what Nikki Haley said. You can't replace chaos with more chaos. I got to move it on, though, Arsha. That's what we got. That's our guy. That's who is running the country. We voted him in. We got to deal with him.
Facts, unfortunately. But we are still here, Tim. We are still here.
Enjoy those islands. Sounds beautiful behind you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. And I mean, I haven't heard that. Somebody in the comments said they were talking about AOC needed to be great. They said they've heard that several times. I have not heard it. That's crazy though. Florida Blondie, you and MAGA can't think for yourself. Florida Blondie, you had asked a question earlier when I was talking about under Trump, the MAGA folks are not benefiting that much. And you brought up Kamala Harris and said, what have she done or whatever. This is what I keep saying on this. When the economy sucked under Biden, when gas prices were high under Biden and eggs and all this other stuff we were talking about, Biden took a lot of flack for that, even from the left. We were constantly criticizing how bad things was under the Biden economy. Now that things suck under the Trump economy, when you try to hold Trump accountable, MAGA wants to go back and talk about Biden again. That's not only is it irrelevant, it's stupid. Biden took his lumps for his misgivings when he was in office. Now Trump is in office and failing in the solution. Well, let's go back and talk about more about Biden. No, when Biden was fucking up, we talked about Biden. When Trump is fucking up, we talk about Trump. I don't know why that is. Gas prices are high. Well, they weren't this high under Biden. Biden is gone. I've often asked folks that keep talking about Trump derangement syndrome to define what derangement syndrome actually is, because I strongly believe many of them have it. You know what Trump derangement syndrome is, but if you drop Trump's name, you'd realize a lot of them have it. Ask anybody, what does Trump derangement syndrome means? You can't keep his name out of your mouth. You're constantly talking. Well, that's the same shit you're doing for the left. You can't put a microphone in front of Trump's mouth without him talking about Biden or Obama. Does he have Biden derangement syndrome? According to the definition of the right, he does. So I don't get it, but I don't understand why we're still talking about Biden during Trump's economy. Biden is gone. Some would even suggest that's why he is gone. People were not happy with the performance of Biden. Economy, border, you name it. So he's gone. So now when people are not happy with Trump's performance, we go back to talking about Biden. To me, that just ranks as stupid. That makes no sense at all. Joe was such a great president compared to the convicted felon with child sex trafficking scandal. Yikes. I won't put Biden. I would never. I don't see Biden as a great president. I think to me the biggest benefit of Biden at this point, professionalism and just staying out of the fucking way. We don't need him we don't need Biden on TV every night. And for all of the claims that Biden was tripping over words and falling asleep, Trump is doing a lot of that shit now too. Just a president that gets on TV, says what needs to be said, and gets out the fucking way. We don't need a comedian. We don't need an internet troll. We don't need somebody that likes to make people laugh at the expense of other motherfuckers. Just go in there, do what you campaigned on, run the country well, get your 4 or 8 years in, get your legacy and bounce. That's all we need. We don't need all the other shit. We don't need a class clown. And that's what folks seem to like about this, is that he is doing better as a class clown. It's almost like the teacher that likes the student because he's a class clown and keeps everybody laughing, as opposed to what he actually does on his class assignments. He's failing the class, but because everybody's laughing, okay, well, I'll keep him in here. Shit don't change, I'll tell you that. Giant Robot, thank you very much. She didn't listen to anything said about Biden. I don't know why, like I said, I don't know why he's still coming up. Biden paid the ultimate price for doing bad. He got voted out. He got kicked out of office. He paid his price. I don't know why bringing him up while Trump. Now, look, if Trump was doing well and he still wanted to ridicule Biden about how much better the economy was under him, which is what he would actually do, I still don't believe you should just be ridiculing your predecessor, but that would make a little bit more sense than now that things suck, MAGA keeps bringing up Biden. That ain't gonna fix shit for what bringing up Biden. The guy's dealing with cancer. The guy may not even be around much longer. Bringing him up for what Trump is doing makes no sense. Helps nobody out. That doesn't help anybody out. Kamala Walla Dingalong would have made this country into communism. Well, would you prefer fascism? Would you prefer fascism? If you think Kamala was heading towards communism, would you prefer fascism? Where people say something bad about Trump and all of a sudden he's threatening to take away their FCC license. Does that sound better? Let's call it as you see it. And by the way, when the last hit was on Trump, JD Vance on TV, Carolyn Leavitt on TV talking about calling Trump a fascist and why people are trying to take his life. You guys have no problem calling liberals socialists and communists. Not to mention you've called them fascists as well. I don't understand this shit. Just get in there, fix the economy, keep us safe, and run the country like a dignified individual. Fuck all that other shit. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe, follow, take care, have a good night. I'm out.